Yeah, we back in the building. 5,400 subscribers up. Joe Fox got to get his drink ready.
What's up, everybody?
5,400 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that subscribes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to everyone that watches. I was on the road this weekend.
Orlando?
Did the show, selling merch afterwards. Homie came with me with his wife. Hey, man, we love the podcast.
Nice.
I was
What's
like,
up?
oh, shit.
Nice.
You feel
I said,
good,
my
right?
man. I said, and then he pointed at Graham. He's like, oh, intern, right? I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, he really watched the podcast. He
Yeah,
fucked with it. I was like, I was very impressed
Dope.
that we receiving the love that we get.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody who tunes in. Shout out to everybody telling their friends to tune in.
Yes,
And
yes,
shout out
yes.
most importantly to the subscribers that are locked in and loaded with us and on this journey with us. Welcome back, Trey, Elliot.
Yo, man.
Out of town last week.
Yeah, out of town last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So let's talk on the positive. Let's talk on the negative, then end it with the positive.
Okay.
Shout out to my homegirl, Carissa Strickland Muhammad. I call her Chloe. She passed away from cancer. I think it was May 20. She passed like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Her funeral was the Tuesday after Memorial Day, so
Okay.
May 27th.
Okay.
So she passed away from the same cancer that a good actress friend of ours
Erica
had,
Ash,
man.
yeah.
So
Rest in peace.
been knowing her since '98. Very good homegirl of mine. So rest in peace, Chloe. So I was there last Tuesday. And then the Tuesday before that, I was out of town because that Wednesday, my son graduated from grad school. So that's the good news.
Shout out to Bryce.
Yeah, man.
Bryce.
So we had a ball, man. Man, it was amazing. Everything was good. The only thing that was missing was my sister. You know what I mean? But other than that, we had a ball.
You crying?
Yo, you know what? I wasn't gonna cry. I said, yo, I'm not gonna cry. I'm cool. This is like his third, I done seen him walk.
I said I'm not gonna cry. Like everybody that says I'm not gonna cry, just don't cry.
I promise you, I said I wasn't gonna cry. So I'm there at the graduation, and Ivy taps me and says, your mom is getting emotional because she was, because she's missing Kim.
Yeah.
She told me that. I started bawling. I said, why the fuck?
Did you see your mom? She said
I
that you looked at your
I
mom?
looked, and I just see my mom with the tissue. Because it's like Shonda here, me here, Ivy here, Bryce's girlfriend there, and then my mom and Lewis. So I kind of looked and then see my mom, because we bought 2 candles to represent my sister and Bryce's grandmother, Miss Crawley, who passed away. So I see my mom doing this, and I'm like, Ivy, why the fuck would you tell me that right now?
Man, it's all right.
And then that just opened up the well of tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let 'em fall.
I just let them fall, and I was just like, God dang! I said I was going to do this. So it was a ball of emotions, but it was dope. Man, we had a nice dinner at 1799 Prime Steakhouse in Alexandria, Virginia. Shout out to 1799. Whenever we do a show again in DC, we need to go over the bridge. It's a Black-owned steakhouse.
Oh, dope.
We need to go over there, rent a little private room.
1799.
They will take care of us. I mean, they laid it out for us. We got the T-bone. You know what I mean? We ate good, man. It was good. And then we went to the MGM. And
Back across the bridge.
Played a little. My mom and Lewis gambled. My mom, it was their anniversary. They were celebrating their 9th
there was
year
a lot going on.
marriage. Marriage anniversary. So my mom and Lewis, I said, all right. I said, well, we're going to go to the casino. You guys want to come? And my mom and Lewis looked at each other. They was like, yeah, we'll go. And they had a ball. The next day, my mom said, son, this was this is probably going to be one of the best anniversaries that we've had for the place. Lewis won me some money too on them dice.
Oh. Nice. Wait, so 2 weeks ago, that's when I left. I wasn't here when I went for BZ's wedding.
Right.
That
was the week you were.
I'm only
me and
saying
Joe.
because you said it was a similar sentiment.
Yeah.
Like I'm just there like, oh, it's a wedding. BZ getting married. No big deal. It's my homie.
Yeah.
But when I saw the bridesmaids tearing up,
Mhm.
I was like, oh shit, like, oh, that's right. This is kind of like
Yeah.
some serious shit. Like I'm like, that's BZ. It's my man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I saw the bridesmaids all like,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is bigger than what I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
There's always tears in
Yeah.
the wedding, right? there,
No,
right?
but I was like thinking the same thing. Like I ain't gonna cry, but I didn't cry. But when I saw them crying, I didn't cry. But when I saw them crying, I had the lump in my throat. Like, oh, this is serious. Like they really are overcome by what we're witnessing right now.
what's
So I
happening.
was like, yeah, that was real.
You know, grief hits you in grief and happiness.
Yeah.
They both just.
But when they
sneak up on you.
collide, though,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it's like
And that's the thing I've been experiencing lately. It's been combined, you know, and it's been mental awareness month, and my mind has been whatever. So I just been trying to just figure out how to relax more, you know, and just be aware of what's going on, because there's so many different things happening right now in my life where it's grief and happiness kind of combined at the same time. So my emotions has just been like, just up, like here 1 second, there the next, here this, there the next, and it's just weird.
That's great because that's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's bro, we did not even script this. This is not planned. That's
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Grief and happiness.
Yeah.
We've all had heartbreaks
Mhm.
in our life. We've
Yeah.
all
True.
had heartbreaks that we had to overcome and take some time and be like, damn, you know, I didn't see that coming, or I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Today, I had a heartbreak that I was like, damn, I did not see that coming, bro. And I
wow.
don't even know if I have time to like
Process it.
and get right
Mhm.
before the podcast.
Mhm.
Because it just happened.
I fucking broke my clippers
Mm-hmm.
that I've had for a very long time.
Oh.
Now, ladies, y'all like, what type of bullshit?
Yeah.
Men around the world right now are
Yeah.
saying, oh, nigga, breaking your clippers?
If you
So look at my face. I'm like,
yo, your do-rag,
I was like, yo,
your do-rag, your brush, or your clipper that
Son,
you had for the long
the
time.
clippers you bought me, the birthday gift you gave me, the little
Those?
trimmer,
Yeah.
broke.
Damn.
Oh man.
That's new. But the other one I had, the big one that I had, the adjustable,
yeah.
yeah.
10 years minimum.
Let me ask you, what brand was it?
Bruh, I just know when I see him.
How'd you break them?
Right on bathroom
Fell?
floor.
Oh man, heartbreaking.
Tops off. One top off, another one cracked across the. No way to fix it.
you got to get
I'm
a
like
hold of
this.
this shit.
So I sit in the bathroom and I go, yo, like, what do you do? And I said, you know what's crazy? Women, I thought I'm comic first.
Go ahead.
I'm comic first.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
I thought, okay, what's the bit? What's
Right,
the bit?
right.
And then I thought,
yeah.
okay, I was gonna say like men
Mm.
have a relationship with their clippers. It's kind of like, no, this is what happened.
I
So
got you.
clippers broke, right? I'm like fucked up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, so look, I start looking through drawers
In denial.
and I find an old clipper
Mhm.
that was just, you know, had the cord wrapped around it. Like I'm just doing it in a
Yeah.
dresser, like I ain't using it no more.
Fuck them clippers now. I
Yeah.
got my new ones.
Right. Took them out, unplugged them,
Yeah.
uncoiled them,
Yeah.
plugged it in, oiled it up a little bit. It was like, okay, it's working a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was like snagging my face. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And I thought the bit was, yo, this is insight for women on how men are in relationships. A man will have something tried and true
Mhm.
that does a great job, that is beneficial,
right.
but will get something new
Right.
and toss that away like it's
Yeah.
nothing, right?
It's nothing.
And when that new thing is gone, they
We
go
try
back to that
back
old thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like,
old thing back.
I was like, this is relationships for men right here. But then I didn't want to say it for men because then I don't want women in the audience to be like, so wait, y'all just treat us like old ass clippers, and then you realize. So I'm like, okay, what's the thing for women? That would be
Right.
the equivalent.
the equivalent. So that's the bit. If I could do it for both genders, that's the bit.
That is the bit, but
So I was like, ladies, it's like your old bonnet. Like you take the old bonnet, throw it because you got a new one, but then you like, this shit just don't feel right. I can't sleep with it. But you go back to that old one, like, yeah, this shit just fit my
you
head.
remember
So let me ask.
how you were when you
why
first
do
got
you
it.
think you have to find a version of the woman? Why you just can't leave it at, yo, ladies, this is how men think. Like, why you just can't just like, you know? I'm asking.
No,
for
just because
conversation
when I'm writing, I try to write for. If you only write for men, you excluding half the room.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to encompass the whole room.
I'm trying to do the other side.
I want the other side to go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I see that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And plus for a man to say,
because like when I talk about the marriage, I'm talking from the POV of how a man thinks.
Right.
I don't because I don't know really how a woman would
Right.
think about when she's about to really
Right.
get married per
Right.
se. If
Yeah.
that make any sense?
yeah.
And now I might need to try to figure out how to write that.
But look,
yeah.
if let me just put it in terms of what you're saying.
Yeah.
If I get on stage and say, yeah, we just throw that old clipper in the drawer, never even think about that shit. Get the new one. We in love with this new clipper. Then shit break. We go, Let me go back to that old clipper because it's still sitting in that drawer. That's how men are in relationships. That'll make women like, God damn. So who the fuck am I like to this thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I could say something that would get them on my side,
Okay.
and have the whole room like, yeah, we see that.
You would have to survey the crowd. Like, ladies, y'all got something that you.
Yeah, what's the thing? Like your trimmer
like you said,
or whatever.
your
Your
bonnet.
If it breaks, you like, well, I gotta go get this
Yeah,
switchblade.
yeah.
You know, like,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Boots or a jacket or something. They
But
got something.
I said, yo, listen, I was in the house today, like, yo, man. Then the second idea for a bit was like, it has to be something about the barber, like the clippers with the barber, how we trust that dude.
Mm-hmm.
For years, we trust this cat.
Oh, okay.
Saying we won't even fuck with another dude that do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it has the same type of skill set, but we just won't fuck with him because he ain't him. You know what I'm saying? So something in there. Something in that vein. Trust me, I'm going to have a bit about it. Y'all going to see the bit one day. Like,
funny.
oh shit, I'm going to do something on the
I mean,
podcast.
you just might just have to write. Of course, I know your process. You like to write it all out. But if you just start with that, it'll come to you.
No. I don't write the whole bit. I write the aim,
right?
And I try to write bullet points. Like get to this, make sure you make that point. Make sure you make that point.
But I'm saying if you just start with that bit, the woman part might just come
I like the
to
idea.
you while you
yell out
say
some
it.
shit. Like, yeah, I
And
dildos in the
give
same
it
way.
to you.
And now
give it
you
to
got
you.
something. Now you like that.
Yeah.
Let me go in the room and write the dildo.
Let them write it.
Forgot to mention my brother Captain Kirk, Jamaican Rum Punch. Shout out, brother, and good looks on that event that Melissa reached out to you about. I'll be in touch with more information later, and I got to do a promo for it before we end the podcast. But shout out to Captain Kirk, Jamaican Rum Punch. Order yours, enjoy.
Yes.
I'm telling y'all, this is good stuff right here.
Yes.
So what you been up to? I feel like I ain't see you in a minute either.
Oh man, it's been.
How was your week?
It was good. Long week. Just got to take care of. So you know how you said, every year you take care of my health stuff and this stuff. I think I need to start doing that because
you weren't doing that?
Well, not a specific month.
Okay.
But that came in May. I told you last week, about the doctor stuff. Got a new doctor and stuff now. Just car shit, because it's hard to get your car fixed when you about to go out on the road.
Right.
So
right.
Like,
my God.
It's like, so I don't want to leave my car here, but I need my car to travel, get from A to B. So it's just been a hassle. So that's what I've been up to.
That's funny you said that. My truck,
Yeah.
you got a Benz.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the display.
Where you need to go.
Service.
Of course, yeah.
Service SGA, whatever that thing is. Like make sure service 5-244 in 2 days. And then I go on the road and come back and turn the truck on, and it says service past 3 days. Like I'm.
Oh, it reminds you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so
what
I turn it on. A week later, I go on the road, come back, service past 10 days.
Still ain't done it.
Today I got in the truck with Charleston. Bro, I've been going for the longest.
Yeah.
I get in, and I was driving the caddy sometimes, so I wasn't driving the truck. I jump in the truck because I got the car seat in it. Past service 56 days. I'm like, okay, so tomorrow morning, I gotta wake up. Kiddo gonna be in school anyway, so I was like, I'll wake up tomorrow morning. I gotta drop this off because this is getting ridiculous.
And you know what happens if anything happens to the
then
truck?
I'm gonna be like this.
They're gonna say to you,
"You was past."
You
didn't keep up with your maintenance.
And the truck is the Benz truck is literally 1 year, one visit a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So you do everything.
They do everything, and they'll tell you like, yo. What's today? Tomorrow, June 4th. They're like, we don't need to see you again until June 1st or May 31st.
like it's a dentist or something.
Like this joint is good. Good money.
Mercedes, one thing about them, they don't play. Like you pull your shit up, because I got a Mercedes, I got a Hyundai. So I got several, cars between me and my lady, and then we got the beater, the Hyundai. Right. It's a totally big difference experience when you take the Hyundai in when we take the Mercedes in, because recently our Hyundai, the fucking engine went out.
Oh wow!
And we had to take it to Hyundai, and they was like, "Well,
they give you a loaner."
Yeah, we got a loaner, but they was like, we don't know if we can fix it, and we see sludge build up oil in there because it's still in the warranty, and they were trying to not fix it, and then we had to talk to corporate, and they apologized, and needless to say, how you said. Quan is the beast.
The pit bull?
Yeah, the pit bull. Well, that's how.
Oh man,
that's how wifey is. And she the pit bull leashed on him, and we got apologies and that. So needless to say, we got the loaner, and they fixing the beater car. Yeah.
Yo, hold up. Damn, son. He said the pit bull.
Pit bull.
Yesterday, I'm in the crib. Today's Tuesday. I flew back yesterday. I get in the house. I'm like, okay. I do a Zoom call with my management every Monday at like 12:30, right?
Right.
So I get to the house like 11:45. I'm tired. I'm like, I gotta lay down for a second. They didn't send the Zoom. They didn't send the link. Like, yo, we meeting today at 12:30. So I was like, okay, maybe we're not doing it today. Maybe I can get a nap in. I lay down for a second. Boom, text message. Hey, give us a call. Urgent matter.
Urgent.
I'm like, okay. I'm thinking urgent money. Like, we need a yes or no on this
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Money. So I hit call back. Yo, what's up, fellas? Hey, we got a call from a lawyer saying that you owe somebody some money. They've been trying to collect for a long time. And today, they're like, if it doesn't get paid today, if it doesn't get settled by today, they're going to file a lawsuit. And you got however many hours to get them the money. Bruh, you know how I don't know if y'all do this. You know how when you know you didn't do something wrong, you know the shit that somebody talking don't apply to you.
You get more relaxed.
You just be so calm and cool. You was like, clearly this.
Yeah.
So I go, well, just out of curiosity, gentlemen, how much money are we talking? $50,000. I said, okay. They was panicked. I said, okay, so y'all two are panicked. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
just to calm y'all down. Let me just let you know right now. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
Just so y'all could calm down. This is my first time hearing this ever in my life. It's not like I brought y'all on board as management knowing I had this debt
in the past.
that I just was like, I'm not going to tell them about it. Yo, this is you said it just now was my first time hearing about it. So now they go on and continue from my agency, who's been my agency since before they've been management.
Right.
So remember back in the day, I was supposed to do that tour. I think it was called We Outside.
The We Outside tour.
And the dude had all the big names. He had me, D-Ray, Corey Holcomb, Quake.
Everybody.
Every heavy hitter was on this tour. And I was like, bet. And I was like, here's my price. And he was like, bet. We agree to your price automatically. Okay, cool. Shit seemed too good to be true. Right? And black dude running it. Bet. And then I run into Corey Holcomb and he's like, yo, you doing that fucking tour, man? You know that shit is a scam, bro. I ain't doing that shit. I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, word? Yeah, nigga, homie just talking. Get the fuck out of here. Damn. I hit D-Ray up. Yo, you still doing this tour, man? Nah, nigga, that nigga full of shit. I ain't doing that shit, bro. That's smoke and mirrors, bro. What? So then people start falling out. Right? But I'm still like, okay,
let's see.
I can fly out on a Friday, do a show. Saturday, do a show, be home Sunday. See my kiddo, you know what I'm saying? Get to have a little bit of the weekend with my kiddo. Let's see. It goes from from those names to me, Kelly Kells, George Wilborn, like other cats. Like, not the names I was promised to be on.
Totally
tour.
different.
Yeah.
Totally
but I was like, all right, let's see what
happens.
happened. I can't remember. I think I might have did 2, maybe 3 of the dates. Maybe 3. I want to say 2.
I don't even think you did 3 because they were around the time where our tour was going.
I vividly remember though, we did DC.
Right.
The guy whose tour it was never showed up to the dates.
Okay.
No, we did Houston. He was there because I remember we went to the after party. That's my spot. This after party was my spot. You know, Houston was my second home.
Yeah.
And then we did DC and he wasn't there. And some random dude came in my dressing room and gave me a check for half of the money I was supposed to get. And I said, yo, what's up? It's half the money. And he said, you got to take that up with homie. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Now, y'all know me. Y'all know the last thing I play about is my paper. Don't play with my paper, yo. So I'm like, management agency immediately, yo, do y'all have my other half of this money? Because somebody gonna give me my money. Oh, we got to reach out. We got to see, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, in the meantime, take me up this fucking tour. Because now I see why niggas was backing out. Money funny, I'm out.
Right.
I did not do any more of the tour dates. Right?
Right.
Never heard from them. Never heard from production or any comic on the tour. Like, yo, your name was on the market. Nothing. 2022. Nothing. Yesterday, yo, you owe this cat because you reneged on the contract or whatever. Nigga, come get your money, nigga. Yeah. Wow. Pull up, fam.
Wow.
You think, what?
Yeah.
So, of course, I speak to Rico's wife is a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Get her on the phone. She's like, please let them bring a lawsuit against you.
Yeah.
You tell me how much money you want. You gonna get it.
Wow.
Because if they didn't pay you what you were supposed to get paid, that's breach of contract.
Yeah, right.
So she was like, Tone, please let them try to bring a lawsuit.
Mm.
We will eat good for the rest of this year.
Yeah. Well,
but that's crazy. Like,
niggas,
out of nowhere.
janky promoters.
Niggas, yo.
Oh yeah, like the
Janky promoters.
And look, I still, even though I just told you that story, I'm still being respectful by not even saying homie name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to try to shit on, because he might have some other shit going on right now, and somebody might see this and go, oh man, I ain't doing business with him. I heard what Tone said.
Right.
Still,
yeah.
my character,
It's always
That's honorable.
It's still
because-
honor. It's still honor amongst thieves. You know, that's just
Well, I mean,
that's just a
it's
cold
not even
thing.
thieves. It's like being professional.
Well, that's just a saying.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? If a nigga do you wrong, you ain't about to go and air out his dirty laundry because he did you wrong. You can be like, I bet I got you, and then I'm still gonna hold up my end.
Yeah, that came from your
holding
side.
up my code.
You the
know
one
what I
that
mean?
was ass out money.
Management was panicked. They was like,
Yeah.
you know, they see, the thing is, my new management don't really know me. They don't really know Tone Rock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They know Tony Rock. They don't know Tone.
They don't know
from
Brooklyn.
Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, when they was talking, I said, yo, get the fuck out of here. Yo, what the fuck you talking? And I realized, like, oh, they don't know that.
They don't know
break down something.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to tell you, man.
Every now and again.
Nah, fuck all that, yo.
How did you say it
Look,
again?
I looked at my phone. I was like, tell me the date. So I started pulling up text messages.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through my emails and text messages, and I find a text with me and Shaq. And I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers just gave me half the money after I got off stage.
Yeah.
After I got off stage. You know, I usually get paid before I even touch the mic.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured I'd give these dudes a chance because it's black people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me half the money. And she's like, yo, what you want me to do? I said, yo, you know, and I'm reading them the text. And I go, yo, this is why niggas sign with a nigga like Suge Knight. This is why niggas sign with Suge Knight. Because when they money funny, Sugar stab a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, that's why. And then she was like, well, you need me to Suge Knight this shit? And I'm reading the text to them. And they're like, okay, wait, guys, hold up. And I'm like, nah, it's an old text. Man.
It's an old
text. We've matured since then. We got babies now, man. But I was like, bro,
that's some
this
shit.
shit just come out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah. That will stay busy.
I wouldn't.
That will stay busy, man.
I like, well, yeah, you got to consider the source. He's like, then once you find out, it's like, oh man, this is what it is.
And dude was like, yo, by the end of the day, we need the money. So I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And
Yeah,
today,
like-
I woke up, was like, no phone calls,
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
like, yo. I'm like,
That
Nobody
nigga need
pulled
that
up.
50. That nigga need that 50 bag.
I said to management, I said, yo, you know what? This feel like it might be like a money grab. It might like they just like, yo, let's see if we act like we can bring in a lawsuit. He might go, hey, will you guys settle for 20? Or I said, maybe they
like the bill collector game.
Yeah.
That means you must have entered a different tax bracket recently because rich
Somebody's
niggas get sued every single day.
That's
Rich
funny.
niggas wake up to lawsuits
They
every
pulled up my
day.
calendar like, wait, he got dates to win.
see your calendar.
He might settle for 20. He might just give us 20.
Settle for 20.
He might settle for 20.
That's
They
that
don't know
bill
you got
collector
time
game.
Monday,
Shit, I'm trying to
Tuesday,
get a new
Wednesday.
car for my birthday. I'm trying to get a new car.
They don't know you got free time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like I'm just busy.
I'm trying to get a new car for my birthday. I ain't got to settle for
Trying
nothing.
to hustle your
Rich niggas
agency.
get sued every day, man.
What are we doing?
And then he said, you know what? My manager was like, yo, he was like, I've seen something similar to this before, like when a date doesn't get done and then, or you don't get paid, they send the advance to your agency. He was like, well, I got to check with them because maybe they might have kept the advance and never told you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? That sounds like some shit my agency would do. I was like, check with them motherfuckers. They might have an extra 30 sitting on them, like, just don't tell Tony.
Don't
tell
say
Tony.
nothing.
I
Wow.
wouldn't put it past him.
Hey, these lawyers and accountants, they known for stealing.
man.
Agencies, they know.
Man, it's a cold
They probably
game,
just said,
man.
don't tell them. They sent the rest of the money for the dates I didn't do or whatever, and they probably just held that shit.
Man, people don't realize how much comedians get robbed sometimes, man.
Listen.
Yeah. I mean, because we on our own. We ain't like an organization.
No. I was going.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, not just you, but other comedians
Yeah.
that we know.
It's like you do a show and then
And they hear you. They you can hear them say, "Man, I know we had like 5 sellouts, but I can't get no bonuses."
It's
at
very
all.
similar
like,
to how rappers, right? They get those deals and the advances and all of that. And they end up broke or they end up like, wait, I just did a tour that sold out. What about the merch? All right, none of yours. That's the agency. Like that's
Yeah,
the
they got
that 360
exactly
deal,
recoup. Yeah. So like you think you killing it and you just signed over everything to that company that's booking you everywhere.
They tried. Management tried that too. They not on that level, but they tried to. My contract is X amount of dollars. 20% of the door at this many tickets sold. 50% of the door at this many tickets sold. 75% of the door at this many tickets sold. That's why my shit keeps going up, right? And then it was I think it was like $1,500 for my travel.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was for my travel and hotel. So I'm like, bro, realistically, what do you think I'm gonna stay in a hotel? What hotel I'm gonna stay in
Right.
for 3 to 4 days
Yeah.
at $1,500 and travel?
Right.
I'm like, bro,
You got to up
what y'all
that.
talking about? That's insane.
Mhm.
And then I would take an Uber, right?
Back and
And
forth.
some clubs will reimburse us, right? Some clubs will
Sometimes
reimburse
they
us.
will. Yeah.
And sometimes they wouldn't. So when they wouldn't reimburse me, every time they wouldn't reimburse me, I would take that out of the management's commission.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all spend $80 on Ubers. That's $80 less y'all getting.
Yeah.
Right?
80.
So then they hit me with the, yo, just add that to the travel. And I'm like, nah, nigga, because the travel didn't go up.
Right.
How you going to add a bill
Yeah.
to some shit that didn't go
That
increase?
That don't
Yeah.
absorb.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, we ain't doing that. You crazy?
I hate when they don't reimburse you for the Uber. That happened to me this past weekend. I'm like, yo, can y'all reimburse for it? Well, we don't.
I'ma start
we don't do that.
asking.
I'm like, how y'all the same company? How this one funny bone will do it, and then this funny bone
They reimburse
don't
you this
do
week,
it.
past weekend?
I didn't ask.
I didn't
I'm gonna
get
start
reimbursed
asking
this
every
weekend,
freaking time,
This
man.
past weekend,
Yeah.
I ask every
Start
time.
asking.
Because
Most
remember,
of them do it, but then when the ones that don't, I'm just looking at them like, well, why?
remember they used to send a car to get you at the airport. They would send
Yeah.
like one of the guys that work at the club
Yeah.
would just pull up like, hey man, I'm the door guy. Can I get you?
Well, I was
And
gonna
what
say,
happened was COVID, they stopped doing that because of COVID. The
makes
employees stopped coming to
Yeah.
pick you up because of
Mm.
COVID. Then it turned into, hey, just take an Uber and we'll reimburse you.
Mhm.
Because they didn't want their employees picking people up with
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah,
Right.
We'll reimburse you. Then they just stopped reimbursing you.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'm not just gonna eat that.
Well,
No,
I'm
me
gonna
either.
start
No,
asking.
like
Add that back in there. Here's your
I've
receipt.
always asked, man.
some people give me an Uber, some people don't, and I'll be like, all right. Well,
And
asked.
I have a rider. This happened this weekend. I have a rider. Y'all know the riders. Y'all seen the rider a million times. When I get there and my rider's not there, everything on my rider's not there, I just go on Grubhub and order it, whatever they was missing,
Yeah,
and charge that to management.
Mhm.
I'm not taking the L.
yeah,
If I gotta
That's
not
fair.
see my baby
yeah.
and be out of town on the weekend when I could be home with my child, and y'all gonna make money off of me, yo,
Yeah.
y'all gonna take that L. I'm not taking that L.
Right,
And it
right.
sucks because a lot of the clubs, they don't understand, like, yo, the feature might not come in or arrive the same time as the headliner. The feature and the headliner might not have the same
Not traveling
flight.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, we not necessarily traveling
Son,
together.
we was in Chicago 2 weeks ago. He
Yeah.
got in 8 in the morning.
See, that's the time I usually be
8
getting
in the morning.
Yeah,
I got in like 1:30.
yeah.
12:45, 1:30.
Yeah.
I come in, ready to check in. Grimey's sitting in the lobby.
napping.
I see your son. Please don't tell me you were sitting in this lobby this whole time.
They
They
hit me with the your room's just not ready yet. I said,
Yo,
"God
So,
damn."
I'm like,
Yeah.
1 second. I go
Right.
to the desk, checking in. Rock. Yeah, no, room's not ready yet. I go. She's like, you want to leave your phone number? I'll call you. No, I'm right here. I'll be sitting right here.
Oh,
Drop
yeah.
my bag, shoes
Oh,
on.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
Speaker
I heard
on the
that
table.
episode. Yeah.
Fucking eating chips, laying there.
Yo.
I was
Like you
wondering
said,
why he was
blasting
doing that.
Griselda.
Blasting
Griselda.
Griselda.
Where did y'all stay?
They was right, same hotel right across.
Same one
in the
across the
mall.
Hyatt or something like that.
The
Oh,
Hyatt in Chicago, Schaumburg.
So y'all saying this because last time we did, we stayed at the W. Remember, we didn't stay.
That's
in
right. That's right.
Schaumburg.
No, but that hotel right across.
Schaumburg, yeah.
Yo,
The crazy thing is, I always get to the city dumb early because I
Son.
take the red eye. I never have a problem checking in a room.
That was cold blood.
Like-
yo, I was in DC. I paid for Sunday night so I could check in Monday morning.
I
And the
heard.
nigga still said, yo, nah.
Because you know what happens, right? When you don't check in after midnight,
the night
they
auditor.
automatically get
But
rid
look,
of that night.
so we called, just the
Yeah,
people called
Yeah, you told me. I
and
heard.
said, hey, can you leave a note? Leave it in the comments. So
Yeah.
the lady typed it into the computer. You see it on the screen. Guests will arrive 4 a.m.
Yeah,
Please allow check-in.
yeah.
Homie just being homie. Nah, no, you can't.
Yeah, but you know what you got to start doing? I was yelling at the podcast twice.
Yelling at your phone?
I yelled at my phone twice with it. But I was just like, you have to let them know your status. So you got so many rooms.
Yeah,
Quan got
yeah.
so many rooms. That's when you use do you understand I'm a titanium platinum
Yeah,
member here?
yeah.
And then you
Look-
won't,
look
you
at
know,
that,
you
look.
won't have those problems.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
What's
Come
up,
on
man?
now. Welcome to the
What
green
up,
room.
boy?
Welcome to the green room. Have a seat. Get comfortable.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Trey, let me get a
man.
cup.
Uh-oh, we doing drink champs.
What's up with you, brother?
Man,
What's up, man?
Good to
What's
see
up? Good to
y'all,
see you,
man.
man. Welcome
Thank
to
you, Joey.
California.
Man,
Guess
Zach,
who just walked
How
in
long
the
you here for?
building?
till Saturday morning.
You got a bunch of gigs lined up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing-
What's up?
Yeah,
Mhm,
definitely.
mhm.
BT
Doing Mac and
Explosion.
Tuesday tonight with
Yeah.
G-Thing. I'm doing Ice House with DL.
Tomorrow,
I'm going
yeah.
to Quake's House Thursday.
Yeah.
And then Miracle Theater Friday.
We had G Thing on a couple of weeks ago
I
talking
saw.
about Mac and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And he was like a lot of people that he thought was like gonna bring it, came through and walked up out of there like,
It's an interesting room. I've done it.
Oh,
Yeah,
done it
you
before?
done it one time
Oh,
when I
okay.
think I was there
Yeah.
when you.
I've done it a couple times.
done it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's Chicago, so you know what type of rooms I live in.
Okay, look. So let me tell you something right now. I feel like we don't even have to introduce him because every comic should know him.
Every
But
comic should know.
apparently they don't. So
Hey, I walked in, no intro.
I know Damon
Yo,
Williams.
Yeah.
from Chicago,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
super homie right here. This is my
Man.
guy, my
My
man, 100
man.
grand will always put a bag in my pocket when I'm like just sitting somewhere, not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Super funny cat, down to earth. I've had many great adventures with you on the road.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Damon Williams in the green room, y'all.
Welcome,
D.
welcome.
Williams.
Where's my camera?
What's up,
now?
brother? Yo, you good? You right there.
Now I want to be the first to say I never saw this nigga a day in my life.
Please.
I don't know this nigga.
Let's get that out there first.
I know Damon Williams.
Wait, what was the last gig we did was the cruise.
Yeah,
You, me, and
Super Cruise and Capone.
Capone. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was
Shout out
fire.
to Capone.
Man.
And then I saw you on the cruise too, right?
Which one?
We
Festival
did
at Sea?
Yeah,
Yeah, because you did
the
competition
cruise
joint.
together.
Yeah, it was
We
awesome.
did Capital Jazz.
Capital Jazz.
Capital Jazz
Super
Cruise.
Cruise. Yeah.
Man, that was so much fun.
Man,
bro.
a lot of fun. A lot of grown people on that.
Yeah,
boat.
yeah. They like to laugh.
They laugh,
They
and
laugh,
they
they drink, they
and
come
they-
out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They buy stuff, and and a lot of my widows that lived off that insurance money because these dudes ain't taking care of themselves.
Yeah, that's a whole other story right there.
Live
You
off
know,
the-
yeah, you better get your checkups. You don't want on the next cruise talking about where them fans at. Would you like a drink, young man? You know,
Yo,
Yeah.
hold up. I don't know how long we have you because you got to get down the block,
I got
right?
time. You know, y'all know how to go.
Okay, so what did you think when I don't know who the first person that called you and said, "Yo, man, did you see this shit?"
Yeah, my cousin.
What did you think?
So I was asleep. I slept late that day because I took my mother on first of all to a gospel concert on Friday night, and that thing it lasted till 12:15 a.m.
Wow.
And I was ready to go at 11:30, and it was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, coming out of retirement, Marvin Winans. But it was a prophetess there, and she was like pouring into people and saying, you know, your breakthrough is coming, and this, that, and the other, right? So you know, normally when they be like, turn to your neighbor, that's
Yeah.
irritating. But it was my mama, you know.
Yeah.
So my mama was like, and so I got to take all that
All
blessing.
that.
And, you know, she got Jesus DM, so I'm listening.
Yeah.
So I went to that. Then Sunday morning was Mother's Day. So I
Right.
went to Mother's Day, you know, and normally I miss church because I'll be on the road.
Right.
So I get a chance to get up, go early, but she coached it. It's a long service.
Oh,
yeah. So,
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Church of God
I
in
did
Christ.
that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, my blessings are covered, right?
Mhm.
Man, I wake up 11:30, and George Wilborn, my cousin,
Mhm.
like said, man, you seen this? You catching strays. I'm like, what? I said, now what did Corey Holcomb say now? Because that's the only strays
That's the
I
only
ever caught in
person
the
you
game.
know.
Shout out Corey Holcomb.
Yeah,
we
you know,
got to
we
get him on the
talk-
podcast.
We talked, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. So it's just so then I watched it, right? And first of all, backtrack. New Year's Eve, Airy Crown Theater, big show. D-Ray does every year.
Mhm, mhm.
Me and Jess on that one chopped it up, and she wasn't very familiar, you know, and I knew that for a fact. But we became familiar. And she kicked it with my wife and took pictures. Then I texted a couple of days later and sent the pictures from my photographer who caught some stuff. So I'm thinking, you know, we good. And
You text her the pictures.
from my phone,
She
her phone.
responded, thank you or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
So
She
you know,
knew you didn't.
that's that. So then I look at it. So I understand what she was trying to do, but I also do radio, and I know you prep for radio.
Mhm.
So she had a laptop right there, and she was like, now they handled me terrible in Detroit. First of all, bullet point, looked at her laptop. First of all, I thought it was Mike Epps' club. It wasn't Mike Epps. He's not one of the owners. 3 other people say they own the place.
Mhm, mhm.
Secondly, they told me Damon Williams had been there. I get there. She looked at her laptop. It was Damon Williams. And I don't know no damn Damon Williams. Now, if she'd have just said, I don't know Damon Williams, or I'm not familiar with that brother.
That damn.
Yep.
That damn, it's the
Damn,
word.
that word.
That-
And
damn.
you know, with the little, you know, venom on it.
Cheapened it.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
I don't know
put
damn
some
Damon. Now,
on.
you might be a fine comedian. You know,
Might be a-
after
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
fine-
yeah.
That's like
Clean it up.
saying,
Fine
But
comedian.
then she said, but I don't know you. Now you're talking to me. You're not talking to the people. When you say, but I don't know you. So now, if you know what we do, man, jump right up and
Yeah.
real. You don't know me. Watch this. I don't know no damn Williams. Picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking,
That's
you know, I'm
funny.
just going to drop that little thing, man, and get my little 3,000-4,000 views and be done with it.
Mhm.
Bananas. It went crazy. And then I hit said, I was like, man, you seen this goofy? He said, what? Dropped the joint, right?
Mhm.
Once he hit, it
Yeah.
just went bananas,
Yeah.
man. So,
Mhm.
but then all my friends and my coworkers and people had stories like yours. You know, we've been doing good things and good business. So overwhelmingly, it was mostly positive. With them youngins though, like I looked them up. I don't know his big dome head.
Oh,
ass.
yeah. You know the YN.
Yeah, like I
YN,
said,
oh yeah. They got nothing but time too. They ain't got no job to go to or nothing. They gonna talk some shit.
Especially on TikTok. You know, I wasn't heavy on TikTok. I just put clips up. And so, you know, they let me have it. So at first, you know, here's the thing about this, and all of us have to be conscious of this. When you're in a situation where you get inundated with information or, you know, attention, man, read that stuff with a grain of salt, because you look at 19 great posts, but then that one that be like, he got a lot of nerve, just hilarious. She's been around, he ain't done nothing. You know, then that's the one you be like, oh, you know, you want to.
Look who you talking to, bro. I get 1 million, yo, Tony Rock, funny, da-da-da. It'd be that one motherfucker. Yeah. Like, you ain't shit, nigga. You was Chris Rock brother. I'm like,
I'm the goon. I'm the comment goon.
That's why I don't even read comments. We had a whole episode where they read me comments because I'm like, I'm not wasting my time.
I be at the airport. I be on the plane. Cause see, I don't go viral as often enough to be like, oh, is this viral again? I go viral in spurts. Okay. So all my viral shits, I pay attention to, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm finally getting engagement. Boom, boom, boom. So, in order to keep it going, you have to engage.
You do.
And I go in on them motherfuckers like, what? I go in, man.
And that's the crazy part, because first of all, she was engaging before she blocked me. I don't know what she did after that. So she hit me the next day and said, hey, OG, what's this? You know, like, man, I mean, we met, but I don't really know you. I ain't put the name with the face. You know, I've been moving heavy, but this is very un-OG-like. And it was a long 3-minute message chastising me for putting up a clip when she put up the clip first. Now I'm sitting here to dwell on this situation.
No, we about to.
But this is our first time seeing each other.
So,
and I'm only doing this because I made sure to make it a point to make everybody know aware that I'm like, I know very well who this dude is.
You did fantastic.
I have
with
done
that too, and it was much appreciated, and it was heartfelt, bro. So you know, so it was a silly situation, but for her to say, and I already blocked you and Leon Rogers, and Leon Rogers is GCI morning show. And
Shout
out to Leon.
You know, and she cursed him out on the text, and that's between them. And I hit her back. I said, listen, all I'm doing is protecting my brand. And I feel like we can go ahead and squash this publicly and laugh about it. In fact, I've issued another text stating that we should now capitalize this by going out with the Just Hilarious I Do Know Damon Williams tour. And both of us go out, she hosts, I close, or however she want to do it, which should be that way. Right. You know, and let's rock it. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't had no animus about it. But I did know, I knew where it came from, but I also knew what it looked like to people who do know me, or people that did know me. Now she got 5 million followers, they on a big platform. Why would they want to know me if she said it like that?
And that's the thing, man, what people don't understand about
about
the social media thing is what her responsibility and all those people she have with the temperature of how social media is. Yo, these new people, they will play you in a minute based off of what somebody else said. And that's what I had posted before. Somebody had Omarion dancing and some girl in the background was clowning him. Like, he really think he could dance, whatever. And I did the video. The video went viral. And I'm like, yo, I'm tired of all these young people and these people that don't know nothing trying to disrespect our OGs or people who came up, who was big, whatever. And now y'all trying to disrespect them at this point. I was like, y'all even turned Michael Jordan into a Michael Jordan face meme. When you see Michael Jordan now, these young people got him crying. Like, that's how they know Michael Jordan. Like, don't disrespect one of the greatest basketball players.
Like I say, I know it wasn't intended in disrespect, and I'm going to say that clearly. I even have, on my whole career, been jokes about my name and Damon Williams' name. You know, me and him have talked about it a couple of times, and I just say, well, he spelled his name with more zeros, you know. And so that's been my running joke. So I understood that, you know what I'm saying? But she used it as a punchline. It was intentional. You know,
it's all comedy. We hear the joke. We hear the bit.
He had to check
and it was my blessing.
He said something super funny. Okay. John, you know John Grimes? John Grimes, Damon Williams. Now you know each other. He said,
I don't know no damn John.
He said, yo, I saw the clip. She said, I thought it was Damon Wayans. Not no damn Damon Williams. And John Grimes said, wait, so you thought Damon Wayans was opening for you?
Right. On the show with you. You thought Damon Williams was opening for you. He
was going to ask a question.
So that was the thing. That was a misconception, too, because what she was stating that when whoever was trying to book her, they used as like a, you know, to vouch. You know, we just had Damon Williams here. Now, either he mistakenly said Wayans, because that happens, or she heard initially or immediately. You hear what you want to hear, especially in certain words. So I understood all of that. But when you do radio, I did radio for 8 years, Tom Jones Morning Show, biggest show on the radio, and I know we prep. And when you look at your notes and say something, that's either you meant to be that person, or you had time to look me up then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You had time. So the thing about that, like I said, it's been a blessing to me.
I know. How did it feel to get your flowers and be alive?
Hey,
To
man.
There's a
sell
lot
them?
of people.
I have told everybody that you ain't even got to do a service at this point when I leave. You know, 100 years from now, I have to speak the
Replay
death
the
of my
clips.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, just run
Yeah.
that. Yeah, just
Yeah.
run my Instagram and my.
Look at all
You
the
know,
people
everybody
that love
already
me.
showed up. So, so it was beautiful. But first of all, I've already been struggling with the name comparison. You know, my whole career. So I've been in the shadow of a Wayans.
Then you look like Montel Williams.
It's all that. And then people like to say. Where you at, Kamala? Bring it back, Kamala.
Damn. He got the name.
Running across the board,
Sound
man.
like somebody that look
But
like somebody. I put in a lot of good work on a lot of major situations, man. So you understand the generational gap, and that's why that's what it was. It was like a civil war between old and young. But then there were young people like, well, I'm only 32 and I know who he is. Blah 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 blah. So for it to all to come together, man, like it did, and at this stage in our careers, anything that keep you relevant.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting calls from people that I ain't talked to in forever. Just to say a story. Yeah, man. I remember the time, I missed my flight and you
That's
bought my
dope.
ticket or stuff like that. Stuff I forgot I even did because it's just the
Yeah.
nature of doing stuff, especially when you've been promoting and booking shows the whole time. So like
That's
he said,
amazing.
if it's something I could do for a comic, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So here it is. It's a good thing to be in the social media space already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for it to be positive, you can't ask for more than that. Because I was about to stage some shit anyway. I was like, I just wrote a bit, man. Like, I'm gonna have some white person call me the N-word, and I'm gonna tell. I said, look, man, I'm gonna need one brave white person in here. He called me the N-word with the ER. Now you're gonna lose your job. You're gonna get shunned. You're gonna have to move, but you might get $1 million GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So win-win for us both.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that, I had just said it because I was like, comics never get on like TMZ and things like that for nothing positive. Somebody had to throw a beer can at you or hurl a racial slur or something like that. So I said, I'm gonna stage it as a bit, and then lo and behold, the Lord said, "Let there be just."
No, that was your mother turning
My
to your
mother.
neighbor saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, your breakthrough coming."
was coming.
Wholeheartedly
Never know.
believe that, man.
The Most High never say how it's coming. He just say it's coming.
I wholeheartedly
coming.
believe that
Yeah.
the time I spent and the way my mother was sincerely praying, and they was humming the
Yeah.
ceiling. It was a lot. It was a lot of the smoking
Yeah.
the tongue. She spoke to, like I say, she got Jesus DM. So
I need to go to that church. I need for just to say I don't know no damn Trey Elliot.
I just want to say this. I remember, like you said, you got phone calls about stories.
right.
I remember one time, I think it was the first time I did Schaumburg improv.
Okay.
You came to the show and sat in the audience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the whole time I'm on stage, I'm like, yo, why is Damon Williams?
It's a
Why is he in the audience? Like,
Yeah.
Came to watch.
Just
man.
sat and watched and came backstage. Yo, good
Yeah.
funny stuff, bro. I'm like,
Man.
yo, my man just.
That's
I'm
dope.
like, yo,
It was
you
a date
and
night.
and Kool-Aid, may he rest in peace.
Man, one of the greatest.
I
of
would
all
go to
time,
Detroit
man.
and Kool-Aid would be like, yo,
Right.
Rock.
Yeah.
Hey, Rock. Like,
Absolutely, bro.
just
Because-
in the
Yeah.
room.
Plus, you
That's
know,
good.
you're funny.
Came with his mom's one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our
man.
last engagement was I did Southfield,
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
and he came with his mother,
Wow.
and that's a tough room.
Man.
And we in there, we got the room rocking. Me and
Yeah.
Rube and Mike Young. Mike
Okay.
Young, my man Mike Young's from Southfield.
Indeed.
We got the room rocking. Even the people at the bar that don't be paying attention to the
Exactly.
show, they turning around like, yo, y'all niggas funny as fuck.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Because the bar, if
That's
you've
how
ever
they
been to
do,
the bar,
right.
is the people at the bar are,
Facing
have their
away
backs
from the
turned to the
crowd.
stage.
Right.
And they turn around like, yo, y'all niggas is cooking back there.
Yeah.
And
Turn right
Kool-Aid
the
was in the
other
room. And I'm like, yo,
Kool-Aid,
my
man.
brother Kool-Aid in the room, man. Thank you for coming out, man. I appreciate it. And he's one of the cats in this business that, people just don't realize, like, or they look at us and go, how the fuck is Tony Rock and Kool-Aid friends? But we was
Right.
like, that was my
Right.
guy, man. That was my
Man.
dude for real.
And Kool-Aid one of them guys like for Detroit, like I was in Chicago. If you
Yeah.
want to get through Detroit, holler at
Get
Kool-Aid. He had a
Kool-Aid.
room somewhere, he gonna plug you, and he was a good guy, and he was funny and well respected in his community.
So look,
His-
I'm doing the show that night, and we rocking, and people in the room like, yo, Kool-Aid, like walking past, like, yo, Kool-Aid, what's up, man? And I go, yo, man, I went, did my time. The room was still just like coming down from a big boom,
Right.
and I'm telling them to come buy merch, and I'm showing them
Right.
merch, like, yo, we got the table set up, and I'm like, yo, you know what? Hold up, we got some time. Yo, it's only right. I'm in your city. I go, yo, Kool-Aid, come and close the show, man. And he came on stage
and
and
killed.
did like 10, 15 and murdered the room,
Sure he did.
right? And was like, yo, I thank you so much. His mother was like, thank you so much. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I'm like, nah, it's
Yeah.
his city. Like, it's the,
Right.
got
you
some
know, I
That's
got
respect.
extended courtesy.
I need to, yeah.
Yo, Trent, let me get a cup of ice. This is a rum punch.
Okay,
Captain Kirk's
that's
making
cool.
rum punch. And
I have to drink it before the ice come though.
yo, and then like that was the last time we saw each other. He passed like shortly after that.
Mhm.
Damn.
Yeah.
We brought him to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
That might have been one of his next to last gigs.
Uh-huh.
and Dave Arnold.
man.
You know, Dave came and went.
Wow.
So it was. So don't do Martha's Vineyard. All I'm trying to tell you.
Don't do it with you.
Wait, you just reached out to me about that. We just spoke like a week ago. Like, can you Martha's Vineyard? I said, yo, I'm booked that weekend, but I would love to go.
I just talked to G-Thing yesterday, and he was
Yeah.
telling me about the Martha's Vineyard gig.
The
I
comedy
was like, I
fest.
gotta get the Martha's
It's an
Vineyard
annual.
gig.
It's an annual thing.
I never been.
Bro.
Heard about
Yeah,
it.
most people never been. I'll tell you a
Yeah.
funny story, and
Yeah,
I
I
won't say
gotta
his
go.
name, but one of the comics didn't even know where Martha's Vineyard was, but he heard it was an island, so he went out and got an expedited passport to go to Massachusetts. Not only got a passport, paid extra for that.
Well,
boy.
his ass needed it anyway.
Yeah, well, you need one, yeah.
he needed
That's
But
it.
here's the funny thing about this whole thing that we were talking about. Not only did one Mike Detroit, you know, because she got up really trying to
Yeah, I'm gonna
destroy
tell you about that. Go.
And you know, she woke up and chose violence. She wanted to. She was telling people, I advise comedians not to go there and don't work there. If you had a bad experience, that's one thing. It's a black-owned comedy club. We only got about 5 or 6 of them. So I put it in my post. You don't try to kill it. You know, because there's a lot of black people that work there. You know, dozens of black women. You know, and they might need their ends to meet with that. So now they saw my post, and I'm going back. So I'll be in one Mike Detroit, June 2021, going back.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we did it, and I was talking about it on stage and recorded the clip, and was like, nah, I'm probably not. I ain't gonna put that up. Like, you know, it's like I don't want to.
Right.
And then she went crazy about it, and I was like, okay, so I wasn't the only one that had
It's
unfavorable
some
experience.
organizational issues.
So I was like, oh, let me put my clip up. Then the whole thing about you, I was like, okay, now I got to put my clip up.
Right.
So I put my clip up. But I just want to end this whole topic on this
Thank
whole thing
you.
with this. Like, yo,
Oh, thank you.
this the new intern, Trent.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Tall intern. Yeah.
Like, yo, we know we
Go
all
back.
comics, we all in the same gang,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I was bringing up the topic to just address it with Damon
Right.
for the first time since seeing him since
Right,
that
right,
happened.
indeed.
But this in no way, shape, or form was meant to be malicious towards
Just
Jess.
a
We all got
hilarious-
love
I
for
have,
her as
I have
well.
nothing but love.
I don't want
Yeah.
people to be in the comments like, yo, fuck you, Tony Rock,
Right.
Joe Fox.
We're not here
Like,
for
we
that.
got love for Jess. Like, I've worked with her. I'm sure she knows who I am.
Right.
And, you know, it's all good. I just wanted to clear it up with you.
Thank
This is my
you.
first time seeing you since then.
She's
I
a
don't know.
comedian now.
The whole episode
And
not
I'm
going to be
telling
about
you,
that.
our interaction on New Year's Eve was very pleasant, and if there are more pictures of us hugging it out and talking about it, her and my wife, and laughing and joking. So, and I was impressed because she killed it that night. She had a great set,
Yeah.
and you know, so I thought, you know, we was
Yeah.
jam. You know, when you go up and rock, because I went up right after. You know, that's memorable. You know,
I
you know.
saw her. I had opened up for Martin, and she was on that show.
Wow.
And she did. Yeah, she did good. She had pretty good. I spoke to her, but I didn't. Take
So
no
all the
pictures.
people, I actually put up a video after a while to say, leave her alone. Like, I don't mind, and it's not for me to say not to, you know, show me love, but you know, if people talking about we dragging it and we no,
Yeah.
I'm not going. If first of all, if somebody sent me a tribute, I'm not going to not repost it because now they feel like it didn't matter. You know?
Right,
So
right.
that's what that was. I wasn't trying to milk it or drag it. I was trying to show love back to those. That's why I went through the comments and thanked dozens of people every day. You know, like because there was so many heartfelt stories and such. So it wasn't about that young lady, but it was about me seizing the moment.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think-
Ain't no way I was gonna just let this
Absolutely.
moment.
I think
slide.
that was the most positive part from it. Is I just kept seeing the videos of people shouting you out and remembering the story. And I said this on like a few weeks earlier. I was like, this is the equivalent of you getting to see your own funeral if you could and see what people really would say about you.
Indeed.
Nobody ever gets to see it. You should see how beautiful some funerals are. You're like, dang, y'all really love that guy.
Right.
But for me to watch people say those things about me in real time,
Indeed.
I would have just been like watching that in a like just leave me alone for an hour. I'm watching all these videos.
She said she lost me for 3 days because it had legs.
Yeah.
That thing lasted, you know, and then in Chicago, of course. So I've been invited. I just did the news, you know, Monday, yesterday, morning news. I've done 2 news shows because it's the city, my city.
Buzz is crazy.
Yeah.
No, they were fired up about that. Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
the fuck?
that hashtag, boy. You
Yeah.
got on that hashtag.
I
You
think
got
I commented. That's how you should name the
Thousands of
tour that,
videos.
bro.
Shouts
Just
out
go.
to Red Grant on the hashtag because he's like, man, you
Yeah.
need to run without no Damon Williams. I'm like, watch this.
man.
Yeah, because during it when it first happened, they were on the tour bus. It was Mark Curry, Zoo Man, and Red Grant. They were out with Cat.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So they just, you know, they on that bus in between cities. They just called
Yeah.
it, hey, we don't know your dumb ass either. You know,
Yeah.
and Mark Curry like, yeah, I think you owe me some money. Man, in fact, you overpaid me. You know, so those were the first ones to come in. But Red Grant was like, man, you should run with that. You know,
Shout
You
out
know,
to
with
Red Grant.
all of the egotistical personalities and the way the comedians are, man, it would be so dope if we just did that shit on a regular. That
we should
that
do it
had
now.
to-
We have the
that
opportunity.
it took something like that
Yep.
for people to acknowledge people like yourself and just anybody that's doing things or just anybody that somebody see in the city that's dope and be like, yo, y'all may not know who this person is, but I'm about to give him flowers because I seen him and he was dope. Now other people are aware. But comedians act like it's just so hard to really acknowledge and give other comedians their props and flowers. Like
people act like that, not just comedians.
Because we're comics and we're in this business.
If nothing else, everybody has a big homie in the game. So at least shout out your big homie and tell people to go follow him, you know, or pick a veteran that you like say a Hamburger or somebody that's been putting in work for years, you know, talent, you know, Capone, these cats. You know, then my hometown, my man Marlon Mitchell, man, this dude is the funniest human being in America.
Very funny.
He's just a natural, but he's Chicago. He ain't moving around. But when they get a hold of this guy in a movie he's just a joyful person. And he and his brother comedian Muhammad, they roast each other all the time. Man.
I think I know who that is. Out of Chicago.
Yeah. What's up, motherfucker? Yeah. So good. But everybody knows somebody that you know deserves that. And I feel like we should, as a community, should pick an OG per month and just hit them with that. Because you never know how that'll change a person's life. This might be a person that needs the gigs, you know? Because like I got gigs that I wouldn't even have this summer from this whole situation taking place. And that's a blessing. You know? So we all got somebody we can bless. Matter of fact, around the room, pick our OG.
My OG, probably don't need the blessings, but Tracy Morgan was the guy that like really took me on this wing and gave me all the game.
Yeah. It ain't even about just the blessing. Pick an OG. Let's do it.
I gotta go with Todd T-Rex.
Wow,
T-Rex. That was the dude who, and I hate to say he even an OG because he, you know what I mean, but
he is.
He's the one who looked out for me.
He cut his teeth a lot in Chicago. He moved to Chicago for a while. And he was a bad man.
Man, I'm gonna say Faison, man. Like out of nowhere, like I got introduced to him, man, and you a comic, and he had some dates. He just gave me a bunch of dates.
How about that? I have to give.
I ain't even going to. What are you
you ain't last.
I thought he was looping his
The guest is last.
Gotcha.
My bad.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to defer. This young man right here, Tony Rock, has done a lot for me in the last 3 years that I probably would not have been on the same trajectory. So,
and ain't nothing wrong with saying that, even if he's sitting right there.
Even though he's
I got to with this nigga. I'll tell him again tomorrow.
It's a beautiful thing. That's your G. So for me, I got two that I must do, and the first is George Wilborn, because George Wilborn, we are first cousins, but we didn't meet until the very first time I ever tried doing stand-up, because we weren't raised by our fathers. So I went and snuck off to a little joint, because all jokes aside was the preeminent black-owned comedy club. Right. It was a preeminent comedy club.
Shout out Mary.
In existence. Mary and Raymond Lambert. And James Alexander, the three of them opened that place. And I didn't want to just go there because it was my first time. And Dale Givens was the host of the open mic, so I didn't want to do that. So I went to a little dip-off place called Close Up Piano Bar, and George closed out the show. And my father had told me, he said, I got a nephew, that does stand-up. This before I was even thinking about doing it. And he went up and he killed it. I'm like, man, spell your name with 2 L's? Because my blood father is Wilborn. I was like, man, I think you my cousin. My pops told me you got a nephew, and this is my first time. So I'm like, when I learn how to do this, I'm gonna look you up, bro. Because I ain't trying to ride this coattail. And I walked away, and he said, where the hell you going? He said, man, you can't walk up to me, tell me you my first cousin, and you doing comedy and just walk off. So the next day he took me to All Jokes Aside. And he got me on the list past James Hanna. Rest in peace, James Hanna.
James Hanna.
Yeah, brilliant writer and comic. And but James was the gatekeeper. He was serious about you, New Jacks. I remember when they would have like a Def Jam audition or something, all the open micers would show up. He like, you motherfuckers kill me. Y'all got 5 minutes and now you want an hour special. So but he got me past James. And then the other OG, Michael Collier. Chicago's on.
Oh, wow.
Mike, man, when I first came to LA, Mike walked me and George through some major doors. And Sinbad's brother, Mark Atkins, and Andre Wiseman, including Sinbad, they were good to us. But Michael Collier, good story about Michael Collier. When Quincy Jones won his Oscar, they had a party at Norm Nixon and Debbie Allen's restaurant, right? And it was everybody that was anybody in that bitch, right? And Michael got me and George on the list. And we looked at, matter of fact, Oliver McCall from Chicago had just won the heavyweight championship on the fluke. And
Yeah.
And he had the championship belt on and he couldn't get in. But Michael Collier got us in that party, man. It was Denzel, De Niro, Christopher Walken, Leroy from Fame, the black guy from Magnum P.I. I mean, this is my first time in L.A. at a Hollywood party.
Was it TC?
Man, it was crazy, man. You know, Jasmine guy, Wesley Snipes over there pumping on the booty. And here's the dumbest shit I did. So I'm so excited. I was with my first wife. I'm on the phone. I'll call home. And Tony Braxton came out the bathroom, right? And I looked and we was cut. We had on Barbara Bates. You know, I don't know, Barbara Bates, a designer from Chicago. Me and George, we stood out. We had our shit on. And she came out the bathroom and she looked and she kind of winked. And I'm on the phone with my wife. I said, baby, Tony Braxton just winked at me. Now I gotta stay on the phone.
Call you back.
No, I can't get off the phone now. I gotta talk 30 more minutes.
Well, you should have. You said your first wife. You should have shortened it out.
She winked. He said, "It's over."
I never come home.
Yeah, put the baby on the phone. Man.
Love should have
Michael
bought your ass
Carter,
last
man, he
night.
walked us through this thing, man. That's back when he was still popping on the beach every once in a while.
Yeah.
So those my two,
yeah.
man. Those my guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. You said you started first time you met George Wilborn. We don't know that. We don't know that story. How did you get into stand up? How did you start? What's your origin story?
So
I say that because we all superheroes. So what's
Right.
your origin story?
well, you know, prior to comedy, I actually right before comedy, I owned a Subway sandwich shop.
Wow.
In 1990 to 92, I was 25 years old. I was the youngest franchisee and the youngest black, or probably the only black at the time, because Subway wasn't nationwide, but they were expanding. So I had found out about it by reading Black Enterprise magazine on a plane. It was like the top franchises for blacks with the lowest startup cost. So I'm coming from some other money,
Yeah.
and
We know.
yeah, but you know,
That other money be good, man.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Other money.
Fast some more, that other money. And once I used to run into going to suit jacket, like, hey, other money. But I'm doing this thing, but I'm loving comedy, right? Because the first black stand-up comic I actually saw, besides, you know, whoever was on the Tonight Show, like, you know, Franklin the Jai, shouts out one of my
Oh
idols,
yeah,
right?
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Franklin the Jai,
Yeah.
you see Nipsey Russell, Bill Cosby, Dick Gregory, those guys. But the first person I saw that was raw and did his thing was Eddie Murphy Delirious, right?
Mhm.
So that's because my cousin, he was a baller. He had a Betamax, you know, before. So we used to go rent the movies, and we rented Delirious. We watched that bitch 90 times, right?
Mhm.
So I started kind of mimicking him around my job when I was working at City Hall. So they started calling me Eddie, you know, because everybody was an Eddie Murphy type. But Eddie was hot, right?
yeah.
So then I started to notice that people was laughing and stuff. That was just my observations. So now I left my little City Hall job and I'm opening my franchise. And I'm in this gym down the street where all the NBA players will work out and stuff. So some guys, one name named Mark Brooks, and he owns the black-owned businessman. He has these lounges that are now in airports. If you're not a club member of a different airline, he's got these lounges in different airports. So you look it up.
I've read about
Yeah,
that.
he's a phenomenal entrepreneur. But we were on this little intramural basketball team at the gym, and I heard them talking. They're like, man, we about to go see old girl, you know, blah, 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 with the big lips, you know. And I don't know who we're talking about. He said, yeah, from HBO, Adele Givens.
Adele.
So I heard them saying that. All this time I've been thinking I'm funny. So that's when I heard them say that. And I went to the other place I told you. That's where I met George, and that's how he got me in. Then, say about 2-3 months later, even less than that, Andre Wiseman and Mark Atkins, Sinbad's people, were shooting a show in Chicago at All Jokes called Comic Justice. And Comic Justice was the opposite of Def Jam. It was comedy with a social conscience, you know. And so they came to town. Now Adele has gone on. She blew up. So I have that night. So I'm 3 months in, 6 months maybe.
You're the new host.
Yeah.
Wow.
I followed her. Yeah, because when I first, that's what I was about to say, fast, make the story correct. The first time I ever did All Jokes Aside as a feature, it was only because I used to come to the shows all the time after the Bulls games. I used to go to all the games and I stop in there and see who the headliner was. Just as a student, had my little big ass VHS camera. I was taping stuff and everything. And somebody couldn't make it. The feature didn't make it. So he's like, Raymond Lambert let me go up and he said, if you do all right tonight, I'll let you finish out the weekend. So I did I had my props.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to do this thing with a
He said
Jerry curl
prop?
wig. And I was like, I have a suit under, but I have on a starter jacket. And I take that off in the reveal. And it blew up. And then so he kept me. Now I'm excited. And I got a little bread. So I went and bought tickets for the rest of the weekend. I want everybody to see me on the weekend and All Jokes Aside. Man, that weekend ended. And that man handed me an envelope. And I had done 5 shows. And it was $125. And I was like, hold on, man. I spent $125 each show, right? He said, I did you a favor. You know, in LA, they don't pay you nothing. I gave you exposure, blah, blah, blah. granted, but as a businessman, I'm like, I need to be him.
Yeah.
So I went out and got my own room. And that's when I started doing my own room. And then once my room caught on, he brought me over back to All Jokes. That's how I replaced Adele.
Okay.
And once I got that Wednesday night, that's where so many people got their first mic. I could go down so many names right now. That night was legendary because we turned it into like an Apollo night. So it was singers, so it was poets like Malik Youssef and Jay Ivy, a slew of comics. I mean, D. Ray Davis, of course, I gave him his first mic. Corey got his first mic because Godfrey brought him up to All Jokes Aside. And it was a legendary room. So at any given moment, you got Kenny Howe, Tony Schofield, Leon Rogers, B. Cole, Deion Cole, Sonya D. This is open mic. You know what I'm saying? Killers. So we all metal on metal, and then like I say, I started promoting. Then I figured out to do colleges. I submitted to NACA.
Yep.
And see, NACA, that's why if anybody asks, well, why ain't you never go to LA or New York? Well, at first, Bernie told me don't rush out here because you end up broke or sucking dick. He said a lot of dudes leave town.
I was told you don't come to LA till LA requests you.
Yeah, he said conquer your hometown first. But also, the college gigs were so lucrative because if you on Comic View, I did Comic View 12 times.
Right.
But when I did it from 94, I skipped 95, went back 96, I won my special. And then, they was clipping them specials up, so you was rerunning. So I was a household name to the kids. So I stayed in that college market from like 96 to about 2006. So I wasn't about to go to New York and sleep on the couch and hang out with Tina Graham, because like she was looking out for brothers.
Tina Graham.
Yeah, but that's why I had to say it. Tina Graham would let people sleep on the couch if you had to. I wasn't doing that. I was getting checks, and I started promoting
Tina Graham
shows.
couch right now.
Facts.
He's on Tina Graham couch
So
right now.
that allowed me to prosper from the game, but also learning as I go because I kept a room. I had 5 nights a week in Chicago, so. So a lot of stuff came through me in the shop. And I didn't leave Chicago because I felt like Chicago, people say Chicago, you have to leave your hometown to make it. But I feel like Chicago is a market people want to get to. Everybody want to play Chicago.
Yeah.
So they'll do it for less, just to get to the city. And then there's a lot of us on our level and such and other levels that not going to get, the improv or the funny bones or whatever around the country, but you can do whatever spot I got, and I'm going to give you a decent wage and you're going to come to Chicago and you're going to get that Chicago love. So, and then once you come, the city embrace you. Lavelle Crawford, I'm pretty sure I was the first person to bring him to Chicago. And once he came that first time, man, when Lavelle came back, it was bananas.
Wow.
Every time.
You can tell here, OG, he said, I'm going to give you a decent wage.
Decent wage. Yeah.
So, give you a decent wage.
So what you saying that with somebody like Lavelle, like back then, they come, they kill, and then that next time they come, it was crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think the game has changed when it comes to stuff like that now, where like back in the day, like if you featuring for somebody come and they do good and all that, then they bring them back to headline or whatever. The game changed like that.
Well, it's the mediums we have now because back then, if you were funny and if you could get on the radio, if you got on the radio and even if it was in a local station and made some people laugh in that morning show, then they gonna come see you. And once you do that one good time, the loyalty is there. Because we have I know Chicago, I don't know about every city, but Chicago has a strong, loyal fan base.
Bro.
And
I was just there 2 weeks ago, bro.
To
sell out that big ass club, that big boy.
That boy like 400 seats or something.
You like,
that.
wait a minute.
Yeah. And it's nothing to play with because a lot of cats be up there and them curtains be up.
Yeah. It was real, man. We had a good time.
I think
Sean Morgan came out, hung out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Cinda Williams came out.
Indeed.
I wish I would have saw Sean
Cinda Williams came.
No, y'all.
Sean Morgan's a character.
But hold on. You just said Cinda Williams came out. He was like, oh, damn, I wish I'd have seen Sean Morgan.
I got
You seen my better blues? I gotta see her first.
Yo, my homegirl Emerald came out. Yeah, it was like it's love. Chicago's love, bro.
We love on our comics, and we like to we're proud of our city. So because we get so much negative press, so when you come to town, the carpet is laid out, and the people are so genuinely genuine. Like you know what I'm saying. So with all of this happening, I was doing shows at City Winery Chicago, so I did one last night on a Monday. They came out. Emerald was on the show.
Yeah.
B. Cole hosted. My man Uncle Rail, who's a comic, he's a Chicago guy, but if they ever get a hold of him too, he's one of them guys. He looked just like Eddie Griffin, so that might be like my name is like Damon Williams. He looked like Eddie Griffin. But we kicked it last night, man, and the people come out and they just show love because they felt like I had been attacked and they need to stand up for it. But like to your question, if you comics, let me tell you this: get your ass to a city. If it costs you to do it, you got to invest in yourself. And if you go and you rip, because comics going to embrace you. In most towns, they're going to say, well, you did, once you do one funny set, man, well, you need to come do my Tuesday. And you run around that city, man. You do that 2 or 3 times. Spunky Robinson, he does that a lot all over the country. And Spunky damn near native now because, they didn't embrace them. So, yeah, it can happen. But you got to put in the work.
I had a cat when I first came out here. I won't say his name, but went on stage out here, like my first 2 or 3 days in LA. Went up stage. Yeah, this next dude, I don't know if he's funny. I mean, I ain't never seen him before.
Right.
They say Chris Rock's brother. Let's see.
They say, right.
Went up on stage. That shit was nothing.
Sorry, sir.
My set.
You might be a very fine comedian.
You might be a very fine.
Rock the set, came off stage. You're like, yo, we got this other room we do tomorrow. If you want. Like, oh, now it's respect now. But
exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. So you got to grind, man, because unless you one of those guys who got the mega social media, and if you have to buy the shit, if you got to buy your fame, post your shit and boost it. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out here because we had Comic View and Def Jam, Apollo, stuff like that. If you made it to that, you were basically a working comic. Your 7 minutes on Def Jam could make you a household name. The first 2 or 3 seasons.
There's no equivalent to that right now.
Yeah,
like that was a vacuum.
Yeah, they said what they say. Chris Tucker's first set, his first Def Jam. It's like, yo, he's a star. 7 minutes.
Like, 70,000 a show. I think he was getting off of.
And I know one thing, like he was so recognizable that after that show, after the Def Jam, he was in House Party 3. And that might have been one of his first cameos. And he rang the doorbell and they said, who is it? It's me, man. And everybody, the whole theater, I'm at the premiere, the whole theater like, they didn't recognize his voice. Yeah, so that, you got to, like Eminem, you got to, seize the moment. But you got to figure it out though. You can't be discouraged, because you can work in this business. You ain't got to be a star to make a living.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've been doing it for 32 years.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, there's some comics that are working right now that are making
got
a
lot of money.
Boats and all just not Kev or Dave Chappelle. They living good.
And I'm just saying, you're not lifting motors. You know what I'm saying? You're doing what you love. Even if you got a job, to supplement your dream, do that. If you have to go, this is a weekend game, but do that. I mean, seriously. And here's the thing. When you do, I read, the reason why I even got into comedy as far as the business, and this sounds like a cliche, but I read an article in Playboy, and it said and this was like,
so women love men to make them laugh.
No, but they also said there are comedians on the radar that are making 6-figure salaries that you've never heard of. That was the gist of the thing. Wow, but it was a lot of white comics back then. So, but now we have opportunity. If you look at these clubs, these chains, if you get yourself hot, it's 70-80% black comics. When we started, you couldn't get
the calendars. Calendars 80% black.
And they make you do Negro Night, chocolate Sunday or no disrespect, whatever, black chocolate or all that. It was something black. Midnight comedy.
That's funny. It's funny you said that because whenever at the end of the weekend, whenever I'm in the office, settling up, I always check their calendar. I'm always like, okay, so I was this week. Who's next? And it's always majority black comics.
Yeah, because it used to be like, man, don't bring me this week because it was gonna be another black person there this week. You don't want to be on the same. You don't want to compete with each other. Nah, it's all black. And the reason why that is because when white artists come out, their audience does not spend the type of money our audiences do. Because when we go out, it's an outing. So when a bunch of ladies get together, they want crab legs, they want a Hennessy. They go out and get a bucket of beers.
What comedy club has crab legs? First of all.
I wasn't talking about comedy club, but that's a good one, Joe. Thank you.
That's a good one, Joe.
Tell them something, Joe.
The Comedy Zone, Jacksonville, Florida.
How about that?
They got listen. He will tell you the pre-show. They have a restaurant right across. You've been to Jackson Comedy Zone,
of course.
The restaurant's right there. Show starts at 6:30.
All you can eat
Dinner
crab.
starts at 5. All you can eat crab legs. This motherfucker got a mound. He's a comic. He eats for free. I'm like, bro, you definitely eating my share, your share.
What time the show start?
Next week's share of crab legs.
That's a seafood eating dude right
there. Hey, baby, you all right out there?
Y'all got shrimp. You don't have to fry it.
Your wife here?
Yeah, my wife with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why you think I was late? Jokes ain't jokes. Women move different.
Wife caught a stray.
No, I wasn't straight.
She told me to when they get in the car, when you get to the spot, they still got to do makeup. I'm like, that's why I was waiting for you the whole time.
But I appreciate you calling and saying, look.
I try to be punctual. That's one thing. In this game, man, you got to be professional. You got to respect people's time, and you got to respect your fans. It's that simple. That'll get you a long way. You got to be likable. You ain't got to be the greatest comic, but if you likable and you funny enough, then a guy will throw you a bone. You know what I mean?
I tell a lot of comics, 2 in particular, you guys know who I'm talking about. yo, stop being the comic that when you walk in the club, all the comics that I have in like the little powwow, they see you coming and go, oh, this motherfucker.
Right.
And they disperse.
Yeah.
Stop being that guy. I like to be the guy walking, yo, Tone, yo, check this out, yo. Okay, invite me into the conversation.
Yeah.
We know 2 comics. So they walk in the factory, the store, improv. Oh, shit, I gotta go.
Yeah. And it ain't got to be fake. Just be a genuine person. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's what it's
you never
about.
know what opportunity. And that same dude that you snubbed, you know, he mess around and go viral.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like let's say when I was doing the Funny Bone and they asked me if Matt Rife could open. I'm like, I don't want the white boys on my show.
Yeah.
Bow!
Wow. Yeah.
Right? And that's a prime example because he's one of my good buddies. He still reached back out when I hit him and everything.
Yeah.
But you see it any minute. You never know. You shouldn't be a nice person for that reason.
Right.
But you
Right.
also should
If
keep
you-
that in your niceness.
Just be a genuine good. I always
Yeah.
tell people, treat people how you want to be treated. And it's just that simple. Yeah.
Or treat them better than they treat you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
What else are you working on? Something else that you want to tell us about, or what's next for Damon Williams?
We got a show in Chicago. There's a brother named Jay Davis, man, and he's like a creative genius. He does this show called Creative Hustle, and he based it on Robert Townsend's Partner in Crime.
Mm-hmm.
And we do sketches and stand-up and live music. And so the first season is up now on Tubi, but the second season's in the can.
Okay.
So we look forward to that coming out. It's called Creative Hustle,
Okay.
and it's basically Chicago talent.
Yeah.
So it's so many funny people on that, man. Just Niche is on there, you know.
Oh, shout out to
Smitty
Justin.
B.
Oh, congratulations! I saw the
Yeah.
special on Amazon.
Right.
One of my favorites.
Her
Her
special.
So funny.
See
one
that
of
on
my
Amazon.
favorites. I gotta see the special.
I love her.
Groundbreaking.
She's
It's amazing. Ricky Smiley got a new special out too, and I watched part of it before we left for town, and it's looking good too.
I
on
saw
Hulu.
I saw a clip and it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, Ricky.
The
Yeah,
little clip about his daughter, black parents.
man, he got Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky, he doing his thing on
Yeah.
that thing. I watched the first like 20 minutes, but we had the 6:00 flight this morning, so I'm gonna finish it tonight.
Yeah.
But Creative Hustle. I also have a series, dude. I shot like the week before COVID shut the world down. We shot it out here in Burbank.
Mhm.
It's called Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams, and it's on
Yeah,
now. It's
Boogie,
on Tubi.
Boogie did
Boogie,
it.
man, Boogie B.
You know, that's my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boogie B.
yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out
yeah,
Boogie B, man. He was so happy, you know,
I know
because
he was.
it was a real Hollywood production. You know,
Yeah.
the brother
What's
who
the
did
series?
It's called Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams, but it's a stand up
Stand up series.
and a sit down interview. So we talk first, chop it up, then you go do your set.
One comic.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's 3 per episode, and it's 8 episodes. So it's like
3 comics
per episode.
do how much time?
About 15.
Oh, really?
And then they know what they're doing. So the brother who did it, man,
He just said this is a real production.
Yeah.
That niggas they know what they was doing. So
he launched a streaming platform called Urban Flix. Okay?
I know Urban
Yeah, I've
Flix.
heard Urban
Yeah,
Flix, yeah.
yeah.
So this was one of their first original programming, but he wanted to direct the shit and all, you know, like, bruh.
Mhm.
So by the first 3 episodes, you know, we learned it. So, but my nephew,
Looking
Yuji,
kind of
Silver Lining
Tyler
Media.
Perry-ish.
Yeah, he was the showrunner. He put all the cast and crew together, so that was cool. But you know, we got this, so there's no edit. So it's whatever you did on your set, and when nobody no light, right? So if you did, you know, 18 instead of the 10, everybody supposed to do 10, 10 to 12. If, like Mike Semp, my man Chicago, he did about 19 minutes.
Damn.
You know, and it's all there. So it was
Wow.
like you could see where he's like, man, y'all, I'm
Yeah.
still going.
Was that the light?
You know how you be looking for the lights.
Yeah.
There's a guy, man, that did it though, and it's February of 2020, and this is prior. You know, Corona was announced, like the NBA and stuff. That shut down like the second week of March, second week of
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
In fact, me and Niche were in Vegas. We were the last show on the strip or off strip at a casino because we were here and everything else was closed down.
Yeah.
So I even said on stage, this might be the last comedy show on earth, right? And so she's on the show, but damn, I was trying to tell you that. Damn,
the
man,
dude
I'm
that went
sorry.
long, you said the dude went
Mike
Sam,
Sam went
yeah.
long, but no, that ain't the reason why I was telling you. Anyway, rum punch.
Captain
Kirk.
I've not been to bed, man. Like we literally left the city winery last night, me and my wife, and we went and packed, and we called it like a 6 a.m. flight this morning. Then we landed, and you know the room ain't ready because we got here. At 9
Right.
a.m.,
We just had that
I
conversation
just
when you got
said,
here.
hey, man, you gotta
So
let
we
them know
went,
you
we
a
went
titanium
on the low. We
member.
went to the fashion district down there because
Okay.
you can find some gyms down there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Walked around there, went to the coffee company and ate a little breakfast.
That's
and,
my
shit,
spot.
and bounced back to the hotel. So we went straight from there to there to there to here.
Yeah.
So I'm delirious.
And you got a set tonight.
Oh, I'm gonna do that though. You know,
Yeah,
them gangsters. in
Those
there.
be the good sets too. When you
Yeah,
like, I just
yeah.
had to walk in and jump on the mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, they
Absolutely.
start. What time the show start?
It's door 7:30, so you know what that is.
So,
I'm going up
8:30.
last.
Okay, you closing.
Yeah,
Okay.
James
okay,
Davis
yeah,
on the
yeah.
show and another young lady, but I don't know who it is. But
Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea Perry.
Oh, Chelsea Perry. Shout out Chelsea Perry.
You're gonna be
Thank
impressed. You're
I
gonna
don't
be
know no
impressed.
damn. No, let's get uploaded. I don't know no damn Chelsea.
James Davis,
Who the hell?
you know James Davis,
Of
super
course.
funny.
Yeah,
Chelsea Perry's
it's gonna
very
be a
funny.
great show, man.
Shout
So
out.
they
Yeah.
do that every
Brooklyn
once in a while.
Cats.
You know, Mike Epps pops in from time to time, and so I'm doing that. I'm going to Ice House to kick with
Okay.
BL tomorrow.
That's a
I'm
good
gonna
show.
do Quake's House Thursday, and then I'm on that. They call it now a BET Comic View reunion at Miracle Theater.
Oh yeah, because
Inglewood.
BET Awards is Monday. That's right.
Chris
Yeah,
Spencer
it was,
hosting
so-
that thing.
yeah.
And like Chris Spencer, Cheryl Underwood, Ricky Smiley.
Mhm.
So we all gonna be on that thing. So I'm here for that. You know,
Are you here this weekend for that stuff, or are you starting to make the rounds of LA a little bit more?
you know, every time I come to LA, first thing they say, so how long you gonna be out here?
You got
I don't know. I need to have a reason. I'm hoping that, you know, I can capitalize on the scenario that's taking place.
Right.
And, you know, I talked to Bentley Kyle Evans, who's a good dude.
Yes,
I know
yes,
Bentley.
yes. Shout out
Big
to
You gotta
shouts to
get
Bentley.
Bentley on here, man.
Yeah, man, 'cause
I
he got a
told
lot
you,
of
he's mad at
knowledge.
me. You might be mad at
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Hey, well, make up. Bentley.
Yeah, no, it's all love. It's just
I hit him.
Yeah.
I told you,
Got
SB,
weird, yeah,
SB,
yeah.
But my man G thing, it started with him for the Tuesday show, Mac and Tuesday. Then it happened to be same week as Miracle Theater
Mhm.
and the BET Awards. And I did it last year with Chris and them. Me and G Thing did some dates as a pair of Jokers comedy tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. We bounced around some cities.
Yeah, congrats
So
on
we're
that,
doing
too.
his birthday at the Ontario Improv.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
June
saw that.
29th.
His birthday's I think 2 days before mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is your birthday,
A day.
sir?
I'm the 30th. He's
His
the 28th.
29th.
29th? 20.
No,
Okay.
the show is the 29th.
His is 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So shouts
Yeah.
out G Thing. So yeah, I'm about to be out here a little bit more. Yeah, I think
That's
I
what's
should.
up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's what's
without doubt. You know, but when I come, you know, I'm in a hotel. Well, when I bring my wife, it's a different story. So I was out here about.
Hey, Tina Graham got a couch.
Yeah, man. No, I got my cousin, my favorite cousin, David Jackson, man. He got a guest room, you know,
Okay.
and a guest house.
Okay.
You know, so but I can't take her to the guest room, guest house. So now, you know, $12,000 later
Yeah.
for 4 nights. No. It's a little different, but you know, it's a getaway because you know how we are when we got ladies.
Yes,
You gotta,
yes.
first of all, you got to treat them better, and you got to eat better. Because when we go by ourselves, you can grab me a Jersey
Right,
Mike's,
right,
get
right,
that,
right.
get that foot long,
Good.
eat half when I'm sitting there,
Yeah.
the other half in the room. Yeah.
How long y'all been married?
We've been married almost 10 years. We've been together for going on 16, but we met. Actually, glad you asked me that question. I met my current wife, Juanita, the first time D. Ray Davis did comedy. Because D. Ray Davis was married to her best friend.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
And when they all came out to support him,
Mhm.
so he introduced me to her then. But so we met years ago,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's almost
familiar.
30 now.
Mhm.
Well, now D-Ray about 27, 28 years in the game.
Oh yeah.
So that's when we met. Then they used to be one of the people that come to the club. I used to do this every Sunday. Then I fast forward, I got single. I was out in the streets for about 2 years, and I
Mhm.
remembered, me and her had such great chemistry, and we laughed a lot.
Mhm.
And I was tired, First of all, I was long distance dating, and that shit is ridiculous.
Myth.
Because my
It's a
son,
myth, bro.
I didn't want my son to see me with nobody out his mom, because
Right.
that's the only person he see me with. So for
Mhm.
2 years, I wasn't nobody publicly like that. So after them 2 years of running around and getting in rooms and going to movie theaters and all that, I was like, you know what? I need to settle down.
Right.
Mhm.
So I went, and she's a hairstylist. She worked at the same salon, was co-owner with the lady.
Wait,
and,
hold on. You said I was running for 2 years. Sorry to cut you off. I just
Not a
want to
problem.
get clarity. I was running for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just remembered her out of
No, we kept in touch
Whatever happened
over
to
the
that?
years.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
And she was the
Yeah.
greatest, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go see if she's still, because we would text occasionally, and Sprint almost ruined it for us. So we both had Sprint. So every once in a while, I hit her every once in a while, and she would hit me back, whatever. I'm on the flight, just checking on you. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Boom, leave. I hit her a couple times, and she didn't hit me back.
Yeah.
Man, so I'm going somewhere, and my destination is this way.
Mhm.
The salon that she's been in forever is that way. And I said, you know what? Let me go see what this girl doing. Because why she
Oh,
ain't
I'm
hit me
pulling up.
back?
I'm pulling up.
I'm pulling
Okay.
up.
Mhm.
And it was like Officer and a Gentleman. When her cousin was like, you go, girl.
Ah.
Love
Man,
lifts
we
us
been-
up where we belong.
Got nowhere else to go. Now, for all the Just Hilarious fans, the Officer and a Gentleman is a movie with a bunch of older people starring Richard
They had
Gere.
the hair dryers on, blowing her hair up.
Yeah, like, you go, girl, you go. And we've been rocking, man, like literally rocking. You've
Wait,
seen
can
us
your wife
together.
stand at the door right here so we can see her?
No, she's over. Let me get her.
Can we just tell her stand right here at the door so we can see her?
Baby. Oh,
Okay.
timing is everything.
Yeah.
She in the bathroom because we only stopped one time all day since we landed. So yeah.
Tell her stand at the
When
door.
she comes,
oh, she didn't
please.
hear the story though. She didn't hear you tell the
That's
story.
Oh, she know the story.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
is this all
No,
accurate?
she knows the story. Oh yeah,
Is
you
this
can
accurate?
fact check it.
Yeah.
You know how they do on them dating games when you have to go out
Yeah.
the room. Tell us how you
Yeah,
met your
yeah,
husband.
yeah.
Right.
That would be awesome. Come on,
Write it on
funny.
a piece
My
of
wife
paper.
is hilarious, dude. That's our main bond. We laugh so hard, and she watched everything black. She know every episode of every black episode of every sitcom verbatim.
What did I say Sunday? We were having dinner with everybody. That group we was having. Everybody's about laughter.
Yeah, that's from the first.
Here's a gym. You ready for a gym?
Let's go, gym time.
In order, you think right now about everybody in your life that you love, that you can say, I unequivocally love that person,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Whoever that person that just popped up in your head, what's the one thing you have in common with all those motherfuckers? You have shared uncontrollable laughter from time to time to time.
Mhm.
If you,
Every time.
that is the beginning of loving someone.
Yeah.
The beginning of falling in love with someone or starting to love with someone is we have had incredible laughs together.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Everybody you think about that you got problems with, you be like, yo, we never really had a laugh. We never shared a laugh. Think about girls you broke up with. It was like, we just never.
She was
that-
dry.
But if you, everybody, men, women, children, whoever you think about that you love,
True.
you can think of about it a dozen times when you two were like this on the floor. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Couldn't
And
catch
the
your breath.
people you love the most, you will.
That's
laugh
the
a lot
beginning
with.
of love.
Yeah.
I laugh with you first. Then it's I learn you who you are and get to know you on a level.
and
That
then
should be a
then-
love
and
language.
then I'm in
That
love.
should be a love
Then I'm in
language.
love.
And then I see
I
your
like
titties.
that.
Yeah, then I see your
Yeah.
titties. Yeah, then I see your titties.
Yeah.
important.
It really should.
That's the beginning of falling in love.
That's the unspoken love language.
Yeah, man.
It's definitely one that will maintain you because looks fade. You know.
Right.
You know.
right.
Sex and heat.
It's
Right.
just that we
But if you
when
can
we
laugh,
together, we have a great time when we
man,
laugh. That's forever. That's beyond
Yep.
weight, losing hair, losing jobs, all that.
That's
hold on to
actually
that.
why I asked you that question because I was going to say, well, when you date an entertainer, it is such a commitment and a mental strain for a lot of women to be like, this is where you go. This is when I'm not going to see you.
Right.
What advice do you give, or what was been the best practice
I'm
that
gonna
y'all?
give
have-
women advice on this
Okay.
because when I walked back into her life, you know, she said, "I know what you do, and I know you running around, and I'm not doing any of that. If you want to be with me, you got to be for real." And she laid down the law, and she gave me a decision to make. And when she said that to me, and I told her, I'm gonna love you and your kids, you know what I'm saying? And we've been solid since then. Cause she's like, I know, you know, I used to trick with you. Anyway.
Hey, how old are her kids?
They grown now. You know?
Hey, you ain't they stepdaddy, you Lewis. That's
Lewis.
Lewis.
No, but you know, we talking 15
my mama's
years.
husband name is Lewis, so
Okay,
that's
yeah.
my joke. You
Yeah,
know
we
what I
had a
mean?
Kenny. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny. You want my stepdaddy? He's Kenny.
Yeah.
Not Pops though. You know,
Right.
I'm bonding with the kids. My son loves her as well. I got a 32-year-old son, so
Yeah.
and he's doing music, man. Hey, if I can shout anything out, my son has an album called In Process. It's hip hop and he got one track that's a house, you know,
In
tribute.
process.
In
Process.
process. In process.
What's his name?
Damon A. Williams. Got to put the A in there, or
Okay.
I'll
Damon
pop
A.
up,
Williams.
especially
Okay.
now. But man, because my son, he's an activist. If you look on Eyes on the Prize 3 on HBO, he was featured for their work because they went to Ferguson. Him and his sister Christiana Cologne, which is my
St.
stepmother.
Louis.
She's a script supervisor of The Chi.
Mhm.
You know, but she's been a writer, prolific all her
Yeah.
life.
She comes to the window.
So there she is. There's my baby.
Oh, hey.
What's her name?
Hey.
Yeah. So my kids are amazing, and I'm just saying that because her son, my son Mandel, he's an airman with the Air Force,
Nice.
and our daughter, she's a professional bartender, popular in Chicago. So you know, it's a lovely thing, Malika. I'm shouting everybody out while I can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But my son's music, the one song called "Build It Up," it's a house track. But it's already been on the airwaves in Chicago radio because it's valid. You know, it ain't just me saying, man, my son, you check him out. Look that man up and listen to the lyrics, man. He cold.
Damon A. Williams. Damon A. Williams
Will do.
in process. Y'all check that out.
And if you
Will do.
listen to the D.L. Hughley show on Wednesdays, I'm on there every Wednesday. I got a
Let them know.
got a
Run it
feature
down, run it down.
called I got a feature called That's What I Think. And DL let me say whatever. I just send in my commentary.
Nice.
But the theme song is That's My Son Rapping. And then there's another radio show, Sam Silk. He's based in Cleveland, WZAK.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you gotta know Sam.
Sam Silk, yeah.
Sam, you know he's from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my man's. And I'm on him with every Tuesday and Thursday. But it's on iHeart, so the podcast and everything is nationwide.
Nice, man.
And that's so I'm doing that.
So
And
you buzzing on the radio? Who don't? How you don't? All right.
Well, you know, you gotta be a certain. Don't nobody listen to no damn radio.
That's it. Nobody listen to the radio. Yeah.
Shouts out to Tom Joyner too, man. He's doing well. He was just in Atlanta Monday night going to see Eddie Levert from the OJs doing a solo gig.
Yeah.
And shouts out, Tom has blessed my life. And
Oh,
J. Anthony Brown.
That's the big.
Let me tell y'all something about J. Anthony Brown. The coldest, wittiest dude in the history of radio. If you ever listen to the Tom Joyner Morning Show, they set the mode. Sybil, Tom, and Jay. I know it wasn't out here in LA. They did it for a little while.
Yeah.
But Jay, man, that's the first comic that I like took a picture with and met as a comic when I came to LA. In fact, Guy Torrey was doing the pre-show for his open mic night, and he was Guy T.
Yeah.
He didn't want people to know his story.
Yeah.
And it was either at the Townhouse or Maverick Flats. I think it was the Townhouse.
Damn, the Townhouse. You took it back,
man.
boy.
So
You
changed the name of
back.
that place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did the Townhouse. Yo,
it had to be.
man, years ago, did a show somewhere in Hollywood. That's why me and Yorsi's cool to this day.
Okay.
So I met Yorsi. You know Yorsi?
Mm-hmm.
I met Yorsi that night. Did the show, and he was just like I think I might have said something about being from New York. Like, yo, you from New York? How you been out here? I'm like, it's like my 5th day.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you still want to get up, there's other spots to go to. You ain't got to do the Hollywood shit. I know a spot
Man,
out in Inglewood.
that's the best.
So I was like, you whipping? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'll roll. And pull up to the Townhouse. And he go into his set. I was like, yo, I got my man right here. He just did a great set over at the Improv or whatever. They're like, yo, they said you next. I go up. Man, I'm in the hood now. So I started in the hood in Brooklyn. So I'm like, this feels more familiar than Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I just go right in. And I just hear in the back of the room, that young man's funny. And I'm like, and it's Ronaldo Ray.
That's a
I
good
was
Ronaldo.
like, yo.
That is a good Ronaldo, bro. You know, there's a documentary out on him.
No.
Yeah, Marcus Head Films, man. Marcus Head just did a documentary on Ronaldo, and he won a telly for it. Matter of fact, so look it up.
I will do.
In fact, I'm glad you mentioned Ronaldo because you know they used to have judges for Comic View.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ronaldo and Marla Gibbs were my judges, and when I looked over there and saw Ronaldo doing this. I'm talking about, man, and that's part of it. It's in the documentary, that particular laugh, because that man, he'll sit down and talk with you, but that laugh you just did, I knew exactly who
he was in the darkness. I just heard.
That was his spot, too.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's, man,
Yes, dude.
Right.
Talking dirty after dark.
Yeah.
That's why me and Yossi was cool after that. I'm like, damn, nigga. And then I think they gave me like a little bit of bread. They might give me $20 or something like that.
Man,
I was like, damn, man, you put some money in my pocket, bro. You cool forever.
Don't get no
That's
better
why me
than
and
that.
Yossi cool to this day.
How many times did you do Comic View?
12.
And you say you toured on the Kings of Comedy tours.
I opened for the Kings, the tour after Guy Torrey left and they added DL, and I did 30 dates with them.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait, what was that? What was the original Kings?
The original King was Guy Torrey
Torrey.
hosting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then it was Sid, Bernie, and Steve, and that was the lineup. But Steve he said himself, they was tearing a hole in his ass.
Yeah.
And so they shifted it and they added DL. But then Steve went to host. So as host, he didn't want to come out, to a cold house.
Right.
So they were going to do local comics in every city.
Mm-hmm.
And so they couldn't find consistent guys that could do arenas.
Right.
So they had narrowed it down to me and Mike Britt. Shouts out to Mike B.
Mike B from Brooklyn?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow. Shout out Mike B, yo.
Mike did a few
Shout out
of
Mike
them.
B.
But then let me tell you, and I don't know the real genesis of the story, but I was told that they told Mike he needs to dress. And he like, that's the Jersey era. This we talking about 99, 2000. He's like, man, I ain't comfortable in no suit. I got to do me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you had the suits.
And they let him
And
go.
it was like, well, you go ahead and do you.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have looked weird for him to be looking like fabulous.
Yeah, and Mike, if that's not how that happened, brother, no disrespect.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to split the tour, 15 dates each by the time.
Oh.
And it was right before the Garden too, dog.
Ooh.
Yeah. Rob Stapleton was there. I gave Rob tickets and shit. And we
Shout out
kicked
Rob
it.
Stapleton.
I would have
Yeah.
bought
Big shout
one
to
suit
Rob.
for $100.
30
for
cities?
every city.
I would have
I
worn
could do that. Wasn't
I would have
on
worn a
social
suit
media.
with look. I would have worn a
Wow.
suit with the numbers
Bruh.
inside, the jersey numbers inside.
Bro, I got
Looking
4
like Clipper
suits made.
Darrell.
New York Knicks.
I got 4 suits made for the Kings Come. Shouts out to Lamar Gills, custom by Lamar.
Wow.
He made me 4, and he did said suit in the movies. You see the one with the vest?
Yeah.
My man Lamar did that. But back then, it wasn't no social media.
Right.
We had 4 suits. We did 2 shows each weekend. So I wear them 2, go the next weekend, wear them 2, buy them 2 in the cleaners.
Yeah.
Rotate. Now,
Wait, so when it was they switched it, they added DL. So then it was you.
so it was
DL.
me, Steve hosting, but
Okay,
I
that's
came
right.
out. So I had a
99.
I had a 7-minute clock, 99 and 2000,
Yep.
7-minute clock. But Steve said, "Look, I know they got you on that clock, but if I ain't ready, I ain't ready. So if you don't see me standing there, keep going."
Wow.
So that gave me opportunity to stretch
Sometimes,
out.
what was the longest you ever remember? The longest you
LA
did?
Forum, he was LA.
How long?
22 minutes.
Ooh.
up top.
Okay.
22 minutes. Because he wasn't coming out to it. Because, LA, everybody late coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Man, I looked over and he wasn't there.
Every time of the day, I got another
He was
hour.
back there getting his hair blow dried.
Like, don't it just seem
Baked
Putting it on.
Y'all said that. Shouts out to Steve. Because I'm going to tell you about Steve.
You ain't got that hair no
Put the
more.
chin strap, put the chin
Right,
strap
let
on.
me say this about Steve Harvey. Because a lot of people have misconceptions about Steve. If Steve know you and he friends with you, the best friend you ever want to have. If he don't know you, he might snub you. He might be like, I ain't got time.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
I met Steve
I
one
did the
time.
radio when he was in LA, and he
Yeah.
must have. Clearly, he didn't know me.
Yeah. When
Clearly,
I met him,
he must not have even known I was going to be there that day.
That happens.
yeah.
Yeah, but with Steve Harvey,
It was on my calendar.
let me give you
I
a
guess
good
it wasn't on
story.
his.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
When I met him, he sat down
What
and
time
had like a 5-10 minute conversation with me.
I got you.
And was like, like you're a comedian, keep grinding, keep going. He really was pouring into me.
you. Yeah.
I was like, all right, man.
It depends on when you
appreciate
catch him, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I tell you the best story I got about Steve on the tour.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Shout out Captain Kirk.
A little punch. On that bullshit.
Yeah.
Next
You
time,
gotta
don't
get-
put
you
the
gotta
juice
get
in
ready
mine.
for
Captain
You gotta get ready for Mac and
Right.
Tuesday.
Just the Kirk.
Let me get a rum punch. Hold the punch.
Right. So on the tour, when I first got on, them guys, they was all kings, and I'm an up and coming guy.
Yeah.
So they had stretch limos because
Mhm.
Sid ran with KB and his squad and Swan, and DL had my man Alvin Morris, who got me on that tour. Shouts out to Alvin. So they had their squads, but I didn't have a car, but I knew everybody from all jokes. They all
Yeah.
Right,
been
right.
knowing. That's how I got on. So I could jump in with whoever, Bernie, Bernie and Chuck, my people. But when we got to Dallas, they were at the Four Seasons. Four Seasons has a golf course on the property. They all play golf.
Yeah.
So now they got their golf clubs in the car. Ain't no room for me. So I'm like, cool, I jump in the cab. Steve Harvey saw me getting in the cab. Steve Harvey didn't send Big Boomerang. He didn't send his homie. He got out the car at the limo, walked over to the cab, paid the cab driver for coming, went in the trunk and got my luggage out that trunk. Said, man, I can't see you in no damn cab. You doing your thing on this tour. And he went and put my shit in their limo and rode off. That's the sincerity kind of guy he is. And he said, now who's the motherfucker that used to open, not Mike, that used to open for us? I'd have let his ass stay in the cab, but you've been doing your thing.
wow,
So
that's-
fast
My
forward.
guy Tori.
No.
Who wanted to wear the jerseys?
No,
Mike
it
B.
wasn't Mike. No, actually, I ain't gonna say his name. So
Oh.
fuck it. He
you
know who he
cleaning it
is.
up.
He know who
No.
he is.
Okay. You tell us when we in.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it, was Ken Cox. All right, so y'all remember Ken?
No.
I don't remember.
Exactly.
I don't know no damn Ken
Shouts out
Cox.
to the OG Ken
Shout
Cox.
out to Ken.
You don't know no
Cox.
damn Ken Cox.
I know
Ken Cox
damn
was comic.
Ken
He
Cox.
came on Comic View and he came in a full suit, but he had the Superman joint, and it was part of the
Ken Cox.
highlights of Comic View. So look him up.
I'm sure he's a fine gentleman.
Yeah, probably a
Ken
very fine
Cox,
comedian.
That's one of my Dallas.
So
OGs
I give you
when
another
first
story.
Oh, you
started.
know him? You know him?
Yeah,
He OG for real.
Okay.
So another story about that. So we did.
Sorry, Ken Cox. No disrespect.
No, we love.
Shucky
Your name
Ducky,
is
Dallas.
yeah.
Oh, I know Shucky.
Indeed. Yep. D. Ellis, Dallas.
D.
Ellis.
Ellis.
So
No, he Houston. D. Ellis is Houston.
okay, Texas.
D. Ellis is from Dallas, but D. Ellis from Houston. There's two.
Yeah,
D.
it's Derek
Ellis.
Ellis.
Derek Ellis from Houston. Let's make
No,
that.
but I'm talking
Ellis
about D. Ellis.
D. Ellis
in
and
Dallas.
Dallas. That's my boy. That's
Yeah,
my boy.
exactly.
Good one, Joe.
Making sure, man.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to hear about the tour. Okay.
So we get to Birmingham and Ricky on the radio in Birmingham, and Steve was like, "Man, you should come do some time on the show tonight." Blah blah blah. He said, "Man, I ain't got nothing to wear." Blah, blah. And Steve got that man a suit made that day to wear just to come do a guest spot.
Okay, so maybe it's just me. Maybe
Yeah.
he heard I was an asshole or something
No.
because he did not fuck with me.
So the suit thing was like just standard.
Well, back then,
They made
see,
it branded.
well, the
It's
thing of it
branded.
was,
Okay.
see, I always wore suits because when I was in the game, I felt like the feds ain't looking at you if you certain tie,
Sure.
And then when I got in the entertainment business, because I worked at City Hall for 5 years, and I felt like even though I'm a gopher in the office, if the alderman walking through in a suit, I'm gonna wear a suit. I had the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So suits always, like if you go to any establishment right now and you have a question about that establishment and you want to ask somebody, who you gonna ask? The dude in the suit,
Right.
right? You assume he the owner, the manager.
Yeah.
And then at that time, show business, it was such, we should have dressed better than our audience back then. When somebody paying the type of money they was paying to see a Kings of Comedy
That's
show,
true.
they expect you to have a certain caliber.
Mhm.
So I always wore suits on all my comic views just to differentiate myself from the Def Jam era, because that was when everybody was baggy,
Yeah.
and wearing the cross
Yeah.
colors and all
Yeah.
that. And it was
Yeah.
dope, but it wasn't my steez.
Mhm.
So that's where the suit came in. So that's a good story. I'm glad you brought that up because when we get to the Madison Square Garden, Jamie Foster Brown, sister Magazine.
Yeah, of course, it's my girl.
Yeah, and her sister Stella, who's a Chicago columnist back in the day, she said, okay, she interviewing all of us. She said, we know who Steve is, we know who Bernie is, we know who DL is, we know who Said is. How did he get this, right? And DL had the political. And I said, well, he a young cat, funny cat. We like him out of Chicago. Steve Harvey said, the man has a tailor. He said, anybody who had a tailor could have been on this tour.
Yeah, Fox. Only the 900th episode of shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You out here get your wind chimes at the house. Everybody good?
Episode 88 is like the phone going up.
So shouts out to the Kings of Comedy, man, because a lot of stuff that came from that. So fast forward, Steve leads the Kings of Comedy, the Apollo show, and they had a nationwide comedy search. Brother, I forgot that brother's name. I think it's Ben Gordon, but I might be confusing with the Chicago Bull. Anyway, they had comics all around the country trying to, they would come and see people and showcase them and such. So they narrowed it down to me, Teddy Carpenter, and Rudy Rush.
Shout out to Rudy Rush.
Shouts out to Rudy Rush. And Teddy Carpenter.
Yeah,
big homie. Yeah, Teddy the big homie, man.
That DC right there.
Yeah, and he back out here, you know what I'm saying? One of my promoter homies booked him and he been back in arenas and everything. So shouts out to Teddy. And he always been funny.
Yeah.
But they were narrowed it down to us. And then when I told Steve, I'm up for Apollo, he said, man, I'm gonna call over there. And
Rudy Rush got it, right?
Rudy was already Apollo Kids host. That part of the portion of the show.
Yeah.
So it was really his show to lose. But he did a great job. And that's the first time I really met him. And we bonded. And him, Talon, and Capone, I'm Chicago. I ain't supposed to be in that little squad. One of them should have been, at least in the running. Capone and Talon, they was killing New York at the time and still are. And so, but they took me up, they brought me to the Apollo early and let me do a Wednesday night, the actual, amateur hour and all that. And they was both very kind and genuine. And these how these niggas knew, blah, blah, blah. But they gave it to Rudy. So that night, and it's crazy because they gave us 3 or 4 episodes each. And that night, I promised JP Justice, he was...
I know JP.
Yeah, know JP.
Yeah, he owed Jordan some money.
Yeah, okay.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He had a room that night. He's like, man, when you finish the tape, come do my room. And I'm like, bet, I got you, man. But then they gave us the news, that Rudy had won. So I'm dejected. But I still went over there. I'm talking about I'm hurt because this is my shot. I already hosted. People seeing me on my family, see me hosting Apollo. And I go and I do my set and I come out. And when I come out, Tracy Morgan walking up, and I had never met Tracy, but he was Tracy already. And he said, hey, man, you a funny dude, man. He said, come on, go to a strip club with me. And I was like, man, I'm going back to my room. I didn't go, right? And for one thing, I always had a joke about it, is facts that I don't like strip clubs. So if he just said, come do anything else, I might have went. You know what I'm saying? I might have been in the car when the Walmart truck hit. But we might have bonded that night. You never know, right?
Yeah.
But it was the fact that I had just lost Apollo and I didn't want to see no ass. I didn't want to see nobody. I went and sat in my little dark ass hotel room. I was like, I feel like Gilligan sometime in this game because at the end of the episode, Gilligan to Just Larry's fans is a show.
That's a great tag idea.
It's a show about some people that were stranded after a 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour.
Yeah. Because, you get these opportunities and then, you think this one. And then, you still. But as long as you keep hitting them singles and doubles, and like I said, you can be yourself. In this game.
Is that your biggest, because we had this conversation before on the podcast. Is that your biggest, people don't even know I was this close to this? Because there's things we've all been people don't even know I was right there. Like, I was the other guy.
The Kings, for one, but, the people that saw, because, I would estimate in that run, we performed in front of 300,000 people. It was 10,000 a night, 30 dates. Just do that math. Yeah. That was one. And then, but I wasn't in the film. Right. So that didn't validate the fact that I was on the tour.
Were you there? Or
nah, I didn't go because I had found out that if I went, that they was going to cut me out. Not they, but he. Oh, yeah. Wow. So, and we had that conversation too. Walter Latham, I say his name. But that, and then Apollo, I'm gone. If I get Apollo, man, to us, that was so big. Only thing better than that is if I was hosting Soul Train.
Nah, you ain't lying.
Soul Train is Don Cornelius.
Wait, let them know where they can find you. All the good stuff, man.
DamonWilliamsComedy.com. If I've ever taken a picture with you, or I made you laugh, or you just hit the hashtag I know Damon Williams, because I'm definitely trying to keep that going, because that's my moniker. I got shirts, I got all that. I'm doing that thing. I'm Chicago based, but I'm always on the go. Just look up DamonWilliamsComedy.com. and Damon Williams Comedy on all my socials. And look out for Creative Hustle coming out. And please go watch Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams on Tubi.
On Tubi.
It's free.
On Tubi.
Grimy.
Oh, John Grimes, Mr. Tan Panda. That's all.
You don't have nothing coming up?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
See, that's why he used to be the intern. The new intern is way more efficient.
Yeah, I got some work in LA coming up this week, and later on this month, we in Cincinnati and Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
All right,
Joe Feasy.
Let's see, I'm at the old townhouse. They renamed it to Eugene's Live. I'm doing that tonight.
Okay.
And
Are we live right now?
No.
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they're gonna miss it. Hey, when you look, this is what I did last night, 2 nights
2 days ago.
Yeah, so Eugene's Live, and then we're in Syracuse. My second time doing Syracuse, so I decided to do that. And then the following week in South Beach, Miami, at the American Black Film Festival. So I'm excited about that.
So I won't be here for the next 2 Tuesdays.
Okay.
So
it's on record.
So
It's on
John
record.
Right.
So I don't have to come in here and yell at
you going
people.
next 2 Tuesdays?
I'll be in
Japan.
I'll be in Thailand.
Okay.
And vacation, and I also have a show in Thailand on the 14th. And I get back on I just found out I will actually be getting back on like the 19th, I think it is. And then
That's
I
Thursday,
got Denver Improv the 28th and the 29th of June. So
safe
Yeah.
travels, man.
And I mentioned earlier, One Mic Detroit, that's coming up. And then I got a new spot in Chicago called Chicago Theater Works. It's July 3rd, which is a Thursday, and it's July 4th weekend. So I understand if y'all don't make it. That's one of the worst weekends ever as far as comedy shows.
Yeah, that's why I'm going on vacation. I'm going to.
Smart. I'm taking the weekend
I'm in
off.
Syracuse this weekend.
Hey,
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to see the Mets tomorrow. Dodgers Mets tomorrow and Thursday.
nice.
Taking my kiddo,
Nice.
and then I'm in Syracuse for the weekend. I'm back Monday. I will be back here Tuesday. The following weekend, I am in Dallas. Is that Dallas weekend?
Yeah.
Syracuse and Dallas. That's Father's Day weekend, so the kiddo's coming with me.
Boom.
And then I come back that Monday to bring the kiddo back. And my birthday festivities officially start. I'm going to Curacao. From Curacao, I'm going to Cincinnati. I do vacation gig. So I pay for the gig. So I'm going to Curacao. From there, I'm going to Cincinnati. From there, I go to Atlanta. Got to turn up in Atlanta for a few days. From there, I go to St. Lucia. From there, I go to Richmond, Virginia. Having a birthday party in Richmond, Virginia. From there, I go to LA for my actual born day to spend it with my child. And then he and I are going to Anguilla until the 4th of July. And I'll be back in LA on the 5th.
And let me just say, brother,
Damn.
it's heartwarming to see you and your son, man, because I understand that.
Man.
Like when my son was a kid or even a baby, I was his daytime caregiver. So he's been at all the radio stations and all that. So last night he came to the show and the comments were like, I ain't seen him since he was 4 or whatever. And he grew up around this. So like he always says black comedy raised him. And just to see that, man, keep that man. That
I take him on stage, let him say goodnight, everybody.
Boom.
And it's so crazy you said that today I'm dropping him off at his mother to come here. And I'm driving down the street and I just see her holding him and he's like head down on his shoulder crying. I'm like, I thought he fell because it was raining. So I thought maybe he fell and I didn't see it. So I stopped and put the window down. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I don't want Dada to go. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's the killer.
Oh, man. I said, kiddo. I said, I'm sad too, kiddo. I'm sad too.
Yeah.
But Dad, I got to go get this money. So
that's the
I was like,
crazy.
That's why I called him when I got it. Y'all wasn't here. I called him when I got in, like, you okay? And he was like, yeah. I said, you feel better? I'm going to see you tomorrow, right?
How old is he now?
5.
Yeah, that's the precious time.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I used to have to sneak. I used to leave my son at my mother's house, to distract him and then have to leave so neither one of us would cry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, today was like he normally doesn't do that. I usually he sees his mother, he goes off running like, bye, Dada.
Right.
Today, for some reason, it was like, yo, I don't want Dada to go. So I felt that. But anyway, I got on the tour dates. Yo, once again, shout out. Super cool dude. I know him. I know Damon Williams, yo. Appreciate your time, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yo, it's live in the green room. We'll see you next week. Thank you to all the subscribers. Everybody for tuning in. Thank you to everybody that watches and supports. And Charleston Rock, Dad, I love you very much. And stay tuned for the interns freestyle following this episode.
Hey.
Consistently they tell me that consistency is the key. I guess we'll see, I keep posting, now it's week 17. Sometimes lack of engagement makes me feel like that I shouldn't, but I couldn't stop, I'm so hungry, I guess I'll bite the bullet. New shit's getting written if you listening or not. Music is addicting, I'm too disciplined to stop. Dude's been on a mission, I'm moving up to the top. You spitting consistent, but too different to pop, they say. Too different from Uzi or Travis Scott, they say. Bro, you doing way too many different things, they say. And I'm just laughing it off. I'm a jack of all trades and I'm a master of them all. I'm a trifecta. Said it 3 times, why? Cause I'm a trifecta. They hate to see me pass them like I drive Tesla. No, I'm already hot, dog, y'all try and catch up.